Hello and welcome to the University of Makati Auditorium. We are delighted to have you here for this event. Before we begin, we would like to remind you of some guidelines for proper decorum in this space. Please take your seats promptly and remain seated throughout the event, unless you need to use the restroom or exit the auditorium for any reason. If you do, please do so quietly and discreetly, without disturbing your neighbors or the speakers on the stage. Please silence your cell phones and other electronic devices, and refrain from using them during the event. The use of cameras, video recorders, or flash photography is also prohibited, unless otherwise stated by the organizers. Eating, drinking, and chewing gum are strictly not allowed inside the auditorium. Consume any snacks or beverages outside the auditorium before the program begins. Please be respectful and attentive to the speakers and performers on the stage, and do not talk, whisper, or make any unnecessary noise during the event. Please also avoid clapping, cheering, or booing until the end of the event, unless the speakers or performers invite you to do so. Please follow the instructions of the faculty, auditorium staff, and volunteers who are here to assist you and ensure your safety. In case of an emergency, please remain calm and follow the directions of the staff and the announcements over the PA system. Thank you for your cooperation and enjoy the event. Mabuhay!
Mic test. Good morning and welcome to the Research Congress, Day 2, Plenary 2. I hope everyone is excited once again to delve into the deeper world of research. So yesterday we had several enthusiastic and insightful contributions. And I hope that several of our speakers yesterday set a vibrant tone for the discussions. We were also very much supported by our management committee. And once again, I would like to say good morning to our esteemed faculty who have been here with us for 2 straight days, our deans who have joined us since yesterday. Some of you have also joined us online too. Also would like to acknowledge our Zoom and YouTube participants. Also since yesterday, thank you very much for continuing to tune in and join and hopefully participatively act as well. And also, we would once again like to acknowledge our guests who came all the way from Biliran to join our 7th Research Congress. So from Biliran Province State University, once again, and for the benefit of those who were not able to meet them yesterday, I'd like to once again acknowledge Dr. Roland Nies, Vice President for Research, Innovation, and Extension Services. Sir, may we kindly stand up so our faculty and students might see you. also would like to acknowledge for another time Dr. Pearl Irish De Paz, Director for Research and Development. Good morning, ma'am. And we will see both of them very actively today as they would be part of the team that would facilitate the discussions later from Biliran Province State University Science Research. They are the Science Research Associates, Ma'am Fia Jane Lesis and Maria Sheila Torregoza. Ma'ams, please rise so that everyone may also see you. And yes, thank you. Your round of applause is definitely part of the program. Right. So I can see we're adding in numbers. Thank you. But special thanks as well for those who have decided to come early. So thank you very much for that. And on behalf of the Center for University Research, I will extensively thank several of you, but quickly thanking our 7th Research Congress Working Committee. There are several of you, and thank you for the hard work for the past several weeks to make this come into fruition. And of course, we would like to thank our plenary rapporteurs and our CIC and Rimport team. So we will comprehensively thank everyone at the latter part of the program, but acknowledging everyone's help and support for this. So there we go. Before we transition to the parallel sessions, it would be pertinent to have a short recap, so to speak, of the discussions we fruitfully harvested from our plenary session 1. So let us give the floor to Ms. Nove from the Center for University Research for our synthesis this morning. Thank you for the round of applause.
Thank you so much, Ms. Camille. So let me read my notes recalling the important details of what transpired yesterday. First on my list, the insights from Honorable Mayor Marlon S. Binay. As mentioned, Makati City, under the leadership of our Honorable Mayor, is positioning itself as a smart city aligned with the sustainable development goals, embodying a model for integrating technology and sustainability into urban governance, enhancing public services, and also promoting, or the city has made strides in health infrastructure with numerous hospitals and clinics, initiatives like free vaccination programs and wellness campaigns as well. So the SDG goals were also complemented by the National Research Council of the Philippines. So as per our second keynote speaker, Dr. Bernardo Encepeda mentioned that promotion of classroom involvement in research, encouraging students to engage in real-world issues. Sabi nga ni Sir, kailangan magturo, mag-research, or manaliksik at magkaroon ng community extension program. And if we teachers are still teaching from the book, and we are still using them or following perhaps the multiple choice items, we are already in the Jurassic era. Okay, as to answer the questions raised by Director Cepeda during that session, what's our theme, or what's with our theme 7-17-7, committing for a people-first development and a sustainable city. So 7 means we are already in our 7th Research Congress. 17 means United Nations has 17 Sustainable Development Goals, and 7 stands for they only have 7 years for those members of the United Nations who pledged their allegiance or commitment for the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, they only have 7 years left. So that is why our theme is 7-17-7, committing for a people-first development and a sustainable city. Okay, moving on, our third keynote speaker is Dr. Maria Carmen B. Piñalosa. She has lots of things presented, though we don't have much time to really grasp everything that she mentioned. But let us try to recall that she presented mostly covering SDG 3, which is all about good health and well-being. She also mentioned about SDG 5, gender equality, and about SDG 11, sustainable cities and communities, and SDG 4, quality education, including SDG 8, decent work and economic development. So here insights also involve the ongoing research about the impact of evaluation of unang 1,000 hakbang. Though it's a work in progress, it's a very much interesting topic for us because most especially for those with kids. So teachers are not only teachers in school, but we are also we also deal with our kids at home. So the first unang hakbang, as for me, I would like to know more about it. Hopefully, there would be another session set for Dr. Piñalosa so that she could also deliver the overview of what will they find out after conducting the research of the unang 1,000 hakbang. Okay? Also, she highlighted that females, their overview findings in the research that they conducted in Marawi, Batangas, and 2 other regions, she mentioned that females are the rules of females, or perhaps the gender equality issue, varies from one region to another. So there is a certain significant difference in between the Christian community when it comes to the rule of female, most especially to reproductive health, and also to the rule of females when it comes to our Muslim brothers and sisters. Okay, so moving on, for our fourth speaker, we have Dr. Francisco A. Magno, wherein he presented that SDGs, or the Sustainable Development Goals, should be in partnership with the local governance frameworks. Thus, he initiated that he wanted to make Manila as one of sustainable cities. So frameworks needs to be ensured in order to have a holistic development. Okay, so of course, it needs progress. There needs a lot of memorandum of understanding and agreement as well from both partnerships. So it aligns with SDG 17, which calls for partnership for the goals. Okay? And last but not the least, during our afternoon session, we have our very own Vice President for Finance, Engineer Luke Ivan Moro. He mentioned that we should stay away from teaching Sloven's formula. Okay? So it's very outdated. Okay, there are things that we have, if we need upgrade, so we have to start from staying away from the teachings in doing statistics. So we should no longer use Sloven's formula, though because as what he mentioned, it is only familiar, it's only famous here in our country and other countries which we wanted to partners with. doesn't know about the Sloven's formula. Okay, so that would be all for the recap. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Nove, for comprehensively putting together the different discussions yesterday. Indeed, I hope everyone has their own takeaway. I'm sure there are. Over lunch yesterday, we were in fact still talking about Dr. Peñalosa's paper. So that's a testament in a way that nabitin po talaga tayo po, no? And we should continue these conversations truly. Also with Dr. Magno, we kind of lacked time also with him yesterday. But there are, as Ms. Nove would point out, 100 steps, 100 initial steps, in fact, to consider before we get to really fully reach the initial portions of the project. So imagine, just to keep it going, just to keep the momentum up, we need 100 steps, initial steps for that. So again, I hope even if nabitin po tayo with certain discussions yesterday, this would somehow allow everyone to push to keep the conversations going. So today, we would encourage each and every one of you to delve into the specialized topics, collaborate, and share your perspectives. This is a fantastic opportunity to deepen your knowledge and connect with fellow attendees. So we will flash the schedules on screen so that you know the locations for the cluster assignments, and hopefully your presence there would even make the conversation more dynamic. So I hope everyone is able to see that. Group 1, maybe Ms. Nove and Sir Vince, we could have a list of what the topic for Group 1 is. But for those who already know it, well and good. So the Group 1 would be here at the auditorium. Group 2 would be at HPSB 701. And Group 3 would be at HPSB 712. So I think our guests who are not familiar here, I would like to believe our ushers could accompany them towards, okay, Sir Jeff is giving me a thumbs up sign. So once again, Group 1 discussions would stay here at the auditorium. Group 2, HPSB 701, and Group 3, HPSB 712. There we go. So I hope everyone knows where to go. There will still be lunch served at the auditorium for those who have their stubs. As to how we get our stubs, let's talk to our registration committee for that, because I think they have some mechanics also. So that will be later pa naman po. So again, for those who just came in, Group 1 will be at the auditorium. Group 2 would be at HPSB 701. Group 3 would be at HPSB 712. Vince and Ma'am Nove, just in case some of them don't know the topics, maybe could we enlighten on what the actual topics would be? Go ahead, Sir
Okay
Vince.
po, thank you very much, Ms. Camille. For Cluster 1, it will be for the disciplines under the Allied Health Sciences, Human Kinetics, and Psychology. So the topics or the papers that will be presented there are Philippine Context of Nursing in Disaster, Effectiveness of Massage, Aroma, and Music Therapy on the Stress Level of Faculty, members of the University of Makati, Levels of Work Stress Experienced by the Radiologic Technologists working in selected private hospitals in Metro Manila, Nipah virus, management and protocol awareness among radiologic technologists in Metro Manila, Voice of Commitment, capturing the stories of nurses who stay in the Philippines. They will be joining us through Zoom. I believe they are already in the Zoom call. Green spaces and mental health, Beyond the Machine, and then the last paper presenter is Development of Herbal Lens. For Cluster 2, for the disciplines of Arts and Design, Liberal Arts, Social Sciences, Pedagogy, Public Administration, and Public Policy, we have students' perception on the usage of artificial intelligence, English teachers on gamified learning tools for primary level learners, reading comprehension, Glock 9 Sirena, Poblasyon, a discourse analysis of the 2023 Sangguniang Kabataan campaign speeches, assessing student learning experiences, innovative change management, and the last one is from deployment to employment. For Cluster 3, for the disciplines of business, finance, tourism, hospitality, and information and technology and hard sciences, we have expectation versus reality, tourism experience and its effect on tourist environmentally responsible behavior in various cultural heritage sites in the city of Makati, community engagement and participation in tourism activities of the residents in the city of Makati, transformational role of digital marketing in the political campaigns of candidates, online content creators turning into entrepreneurs, and the last one is the current status of precision farming in the Philippines. That would be all.
Thank you, Sir Vince. So, in case they didn't catch it, will there be a way to somehow disseminate this information just for their, just to help them? But if not, basically, I hope everyone got the disciplines naman. Parang room assignments per disciplines. Also, so we will converge once again in the plenary
At
after
1:30.
lunch
Yes po.
at 1 o'clock,
1:30.
1:30 p.m. So we have the entire morning to please enjoy the 3 different areas and participate actively in this one. So let's push the envelopes, also students, and be part of the conversation. We will see everyone else at 1:30 p.m. here once again sa auditorium.
Okay.
There we go. Dean Tess is already up and ready to go to 7:01. Thank you very much, Dean Tess.
Okay, for the social sciences, pedagogy, pedagogy, social sciences, arts presenters, please proceed now to 7:01. For psychology, allied health sciences, human kinetics, stay here in the auditorium. For the technology, hard sciences, business, finance, please proceed to HPSB 712. Thank you po. Sir Jeff?
Enjoy the morning and see you at 1:30 p.m. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. May I request all of you to please settle down so that we could start our parallel session for this morning. Good morning. Again, my name is Miss Christine M. Condes, and I am your rapporteur for the Cluster 1. Esteemed researchers and distinguished judges, welcome to this exciting gathering where innovation and inquiry come to life. We are thrilled to have you here as each of you represents the forefront of exploration and discovery in your respective fields. This is an incredible opportunity for collaboration and dialogue. Our presenters are eager to share their groundbreaking work, and our judges are ready to provide invaluable insights and feedback. Without further ado, let us call this session to order. It is an honor to introduce our incredible parallel speaker, Dr. Leland Anthony L. de la Luna. He is a licensed pharmacist and educator with a solid foundation in pharmacology and pharmacy practice. He earned his Master of Science degree in pharmacology from the University of the Philippines, Manila, and holds both a Doctor of Pharmacy and a Bachelor of Science in Pharmacy degree from Centro Escolar University, where he graduated with honors. Dr. Leland has over a decade of experience in academia, currently teaching as a lecturer at the University of Makati Institute of Pharmacy. He has been involved in pharmacy education since 2010, including previous teaching roles at Centro Escolar University. His work focuses on helping students develop a clear understanding of pharmacological principles and their application in healthcare. In addition to teaching, Dr. Leland has contributed to research in areas such as natural products with antibacterial properties and pharmacist-led interventions in patient care. His research has been presented at conferences in the Philippines and abroad. He is also involved in professional development for pharmacists, serving as a board exam reviewer and speaking on various topics related to pharmacy practice. Dr. Leland has received several awards, including a 2022 NIH Student Research Grant and a sponsorship from the United States Health Security Initiatives. He is an active member of several professional organizations, including the Philippine Pharmacists Association and the American College of Clinical Pharmacy, where he continues to contribute to the advancement of the profession. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Dr. Leland Anthony L. de la Luna.
Thank you very much po for that very kind introduction na nanggaling din naman actually sa akin. Anyway, good day, everyone. So it is my honor and privilege to present to you our research regarding the pharmacodynamic model of the antibacterial activity of crude guava ethanolic leaf extracts against biofilm-forming Staphylococcus epidermidis, ATCC 12228. Yours truly as the lead researcher, together with my advisor, Eileen M. Yabes, and my other co-researchers, Dr. Cecil Maramba, Dr. Irma Macalinaw, Dr. Lynn Panganiban, and Dr. Richard Henry Tionco. All of us performed this research under the Department of Pharmacology and Toxicology, College of Medicine, at the University of the Philippines, Manila, and at the Institute of Herbal Medicine, National Institute of Health. So for the outline of the research, we have as follows. So we will be starting with a few background, the research gaps, objectives, significance of the study, conceptual framework, methodology, the results, conclusion, and then references. It has been projected that in 2050, about 10 million deaths per year will be attributed to the antimicrobial resistance, causing a loss of $100 trillion in global production. And the burden of AMR is further compounded in low to middle income countries due to lack of resources. The most affected regions in the world are in Africa and in Asia, causing 4.1 million and 4.7 million deaths per year, respectively. The main diseases causing the deaths due to AMR are shown here in this figure. And one of the most affected areas of AMR is in healthcare facilities, more prominently in hospitals. Healthcare-acquired infections have been shown to affect about 1.7 million people each year and killed more people each year than breast cancer and prostate cancer combined. The total annual cost of healthcare-acquired infections in the US was estimated at $9.8 billion annually. Healthcare-acquired infections have been associated with devices used in medical procedures such as catheters or ventilators. And among the different types of HAIs, one of the most common and significant HAI would be the central line-associated bloodstream infections, which is related to your catheter-related bloodstream infections. Now, both bloodstream infections and skin infections, which cause death due to AMR, are both related to CRBSIs. In 2022, as reported by the Antimicrobial Resistance Surveillance Program, there was a 24.1% increase in the reported resistant isolates as compared to the 2021 report. And for the top common isolate found in the blood, Staphylococcus coagulase negative, which is predominantly Staphylococcus epidermidis, has been reported as the leading isolate. CRBSIs are considered to be the most common cause of nosocomial bacteremia, which is often lethal and costly. And CRBSIs accounts for 10 to 20% of HAIs in the UK and is associated with increased ICU stay and mortality. And it usually arises as complications with central venous catheterization. 60% of CRBSIs are caused by microorganisms from patient's skin, specifically S. epidermidis. It is part of the normal microbiota of human skin and mucosa and can become virulent once inside its host. However, many evidences support that nosocomial genotypes of S. epidermidis can colonize patients, medical devices, and healthcare personnel and cause a substantial proportion of healthcare-associated infections. A major challenge in managing the S. epidermidis is its ability to become resistant to antibiotic treatment. The type of infection it causes are chronic in nature. It's chronic in nature, and they can adhere and create biofilms on indwelling medical devices. Despite all of this, little is given attention to S. epidermidis and its impact. Effective cutaneous antisepsis and preventive strategies that inhibit the microorganism from the skin or catheter hub from adhering to the catheter are among the best measures to prevent CRBSIs. Thus, finding an antimicrobial agent that could limit the growth or prevent S. epidermidis from entering the bloodstream or colonizing indwelling medical devices can prove to be useful in the prevention of CRBSIs. Since ancient times, plants have always been used as a source of medicine. Traditional healers have long used plants to treat various conditions. 70 to 95% of people continue to depend on plants as a source of medicine, especially underserved communities. And many Filipinos seek herbal medicines as a first-line treatment from traditional healers. Leading the way in the field of herbal medicine, the National Integrated Research Program of the Philippines, or what we call the NIRPROM, conducted the initial studies on the 10 halamang gamot, which the Department of Health fully endorsed in the 1990s. In particular, the Psyllium guajava, specifically its leaves, have been used traditionally as an antimicrobial agent. Psyllium guajava is a plant that grows in the tropics and is widely cultivated for its fruits, and all parts of Psyllium guajava have been studied and used for its medicinal property. Guava leaf extracts have shown to possess antimicrobial properties, and its activity is high against gram-positive bacteria and moderately against gram-negative bacteria. and phytochemical analysis have shown that Syzygium guava contains presence of terpenoids, tannins, steroids, flavonoids, saponins, alkaloids, and high amounts of phytochemicals, most of which have been found to possess antimicrobial properties. So there have been multiple studies made to determine and support the antimicrobial properties of Syzygium guava. However, there are limited studies regarding its effect on S. epidermidis, specifically on its ability to form biofilms. And there are no products that have ever been established or made, okay, up to my knowledge, wherein it uses Syzygium guava and is intended and marketed as an antimicrobial agent. There's also limited studies regarding the time kill assay, as well as pharmacodynamic modeling in order to further understand how the Syzygium guava can create antimicrobial properties. So the research gaps observed here during literature search includes the following. So after in-depth literature search, the following research gaps were noticed. CRBSI caused by S. epidermidis is not given attention. There is a need to discover new sources of antibiotics to combat AMR. Herbal plants like Syzygium guava is traditionally used as an antimicrobial agent, yet there are no antibacterial products sold in the market that is made from this herbal product. Marketing a drug product intended as an antimicrobial agent requires in-depth studies and its activities and properties, and that pharmacodynamic modeling of herbal preparations in general with antimicrobial properties are rarely done. So with this in mind, the researchers were able to come up with a study entitled The Pharmacodynamic Model of Antibacterial Activity of the crude Syzygium guava ethanolic leaf extracts against biofilm-forming Staphylococcus epidermidis ATCC 12228. So for the objectives of the study, they are as follows. So first is to determine the MIC, or the minimum inhibitory concentration of the P-gel extract, as well as the MBC, or the minimum bactericidal concentration. Second is to determine the time kill curves of the crude P-gel extract using time kill assay. And finally is to determine the pharmacodynamic functions of the P-gel extract using the model proposed by Regos et al. So specifically, we were able to identify the bacterial growth rate in the absence of an antimicrobial, minimal bacterial growth rate at the highest concentration of the antimicrobial, Hill coefficient, as well as the pharmacodynamic MIC. So by understanding or by doing this research, we would be able to further understand Syzygium guava, how Syzygium guava elicits its antimicrobial property, be able to provide information to pave the way for drug product development, and as a basis for future researches wanting to comprehensively determine antimicrobial properties of medicinal plants or when developing rational antibiotic treatment regimens using pharmacodynamic models. So the graphic here shows that the antibacterial activity of the crude P-gel and its semi-purified P-gel, of the crude P-gel are due to the bioactive compounds they possess and is significantly influenced by the concentration of the treatment and the length of exposure the S. epidermidis receives from this treatment. So for the methodology, we have as follows. So prior to presenting the results, we were able to perform some quality assurance regarding the use of the leaves as well as the bacteria that we use here. So as with any research, we had to, of course, undergo rigorous panel reviews and registrations. So it was first registered at the Research Grants Administration Office. Also, we were able to get certification from the Institute of Biosafety and Biosecurity Committee, as well as undergone ethical review by the UP Manila Review Ethics Board. At the same time, we were able to get a grant from the University of the Philippines Manila Student Thesis Research Grant 2022 by the NIH. And also, we were able to secure a funding from the DOST SEI funding under ASTHRDP. Plant samples were collected from the near Prom Farm at UP Los Baños, Philippines, and was stored at the laboratory at our department. Authentication was also done at UP Diliman, which certified that what we had was indeed Syzygium guava. Experimental design used here is an experimental in vitro evaluation, wherein of the antibacterial activity of the 5 dose levels of the crude and semi-purified fractions of P-gel against biofilm-forming Staph epidermidis. Study site was conducted at the Department of Pharmacology Toxicology Laboratory at UP Manila. So for biosafety considerations, we were given a biosafety level of 1. So relatively, it's safe. It was relatively safe to perform. And then the inoculum was derived or was purchased from CBC Link in Manila in a quick stick format. So it's a lyophilized pellet of your bacteria. And then we just had to rehydrate it. And we also performed quality tests for the bacteria that we received just to make sure na S. epidermidis talaga yung nakuha namin. And then for the plant materials, so for the preparation of the raw materials, we did plant and microorganism quality control. And for the extraction, we used the following methodology. Medyo mabagal yata laptop ko. So the powdered Psyllium guava leaf extracts were submerged and macerated using 100% ethanol at a 4:1 ratio. So that means 4 parts of solvent, 1 part leaves, dried leaves, powdered leaves. So the Psyllium guava ethanol leaf extracts were then subjected to rotary evaporator until we were able to get a semi-viscous. So basically, it's to remove the ethanol from the leaf extracts, and then we subjected this to water bath until we were able to have a very dry powdered extract, ethanolic leaf extract. And for the antimicrobial test, we did the following. So we did MIC, MBC test using agar dilution method, followed by time kill assays, and then the pharmacodynamic modeling. So for the MIC and MBC, the following stock solutions were prepared. So we started with 312.5 micrograms, and then we did a 2-fold increase. Okay, so that's 3125, 625, and so on and so forth, until we reach the highest concentration, which is 5,000 micrograms per ml. Positive control that we employed was vancomycin USP standard, and the identified MIC, or the minimum inhibitory concentration of vancomycin, is at 2 micrograms per ml, so we started with that. Okay, and then we also performed plant sterility control to make sure lang na yung plant samples mismo namin ay walang bacterial growth or walang contamination. And trust me when I say that when you're doing antimicrobial studies, somewhere along the way, laging may nakakapasok na bacteria or any microorganism. Just for the information of everyone, I actually performed this research 6 times. It took me 5 years to finish this. So it was that lengthy. Anyway, so here are the steps on how we were able to conduct the agar dilution test. So I won't be discussing this too much. Mahahaba ang ating oras. Now, for the time kill assay, the following concentrations were created after identifying the MIC. So once you identify the MIC, you go from there. So 2-fold increase, 2-fold decrease. Right? And then again, same goes with the positive control. Since we already identified its standard MIC, we did again 2-fold increase, 2-fold decrease. So for vancomycin, it was at 2 micrograms. Sorry, 2 micrograms, so 2-fold increase from there, and then 2-fold decrease. And then for the negative control, we simply use Mueller-Hinton broth. Right? So here are the procedures and how we conduct the time kill assay. So basically, we had to use a microplate reader with the incubation function so that we can observe the growth for 24 hours straight. So running yung machine namin for 24 hours. And then lastly, we did pharmacodynamic modeling after we were able to determine, after we were able to get the results from the time kill assay. It's very important to understand that in pharmacodynamic modeling, what we did here is simply a mathematical model. So basically, we use softwares na lang. Kasi alangan naman na isa-isay namin yung computation. It's going to be very lengthy. So we were able to design an Excel file to compute for us. So basically, what we were able to determine is the growth rates, dose response curves, at the same time, the various pharmacodynamic functions. And the results are as follows. So during the preliminary QC tests, we performed phytochemical analysis to determine what are the active metabolites or the secondary metabolites currently found in the Psyllium guava leaf extract, as well as perform thin layer chromatography to confirm the findings of the phytochemical analysis. Then afterwards, we had to perform heavy metal testing to make sure that the leaves that we had is not contaminated with pesticides, aflatoxins, heavy metals, and so on and so forth. So we had to deliver it to SGS for the quantification, and all of it passed. Okay? So maganda yung lupa sa UP Los Baños, in all fairness. All right? So just so you know, we have to perform this because sometimes if you plan on using a herbal product as a medicine, it has to be free of contaminants. So dapat controlled mo talaga yung soil conditions, kung saan siya nag-grow, and so on and so forth. And then for the QC test performed, this one is in accordance with the CLSI guidelines. So we did gram staining, wherein we were able to find clusters of bacteria, which is common for the Staphylococcus species. It's coagulase negative, and at the same time, it's catalase positive. Again, all of which are telltale signs of S. epidermidis. So, yung nakuha naming isolate was indeed S. epidermidis. Okay. So, next one, we performed growth curve. So, we were able to determine the log phase, which is somewhere between 8 to 9 hours. The lag phase, which is 1 to 2 hours, and the stationary phase all throughout up until 24 hours. Growth rate was established at 0.26 and a doubling time of 2.6 hours. So the results are as follows. For MIC, we were able to determine that the no growth, okay, at concentration 2,500 micrograms per ml, there was no growth observed. Okay, hence this will now be our MIC for the crude PGL extract. And for the minimum bactericidal concentration, no growth was observed at 5,000 micrograms per ml. So with this established the ratio, we were able to determine that the ratio is less than 4, which is 2. Then that indicates the ratio between the MBC and MIC. That means that it's bactericidal. However, you'll observe in a while, using time kill assay, iba yung sinasabi niya. In time kill assay, okay, we were able to determine the following. So looking at the graph, you'll notice, all right, this one for the crude PGL, medyo straight siya, medyo consistent. Okay, try to observe what we have here for vancomycin. At the first lowest dose, makikita nyo, umakyat yung inhibition, then bumaba. Pag bumaba yung graph, ibig sabihin may nag-grow ulit na bacteria. So at the lowest concentration, so below MIC, for vancomycin, you can still promote growth, which is a problem because when a bacteria is exposed to an antibiotic and it regrows, it develops resistance. What can you notice with the guava extract? Even at the lowest dose, nai-inhibit siya. Napipigilan niya yung pag-growth. Hindi man 100% ang growth inhibition, but it stops its growth. Okay? So, yun. So, minimum inhibition was observed within 4 to 6 hours. The problem here is, you can see, one of the things that you can determine kasi from time kill assay is the antimicrobial static or cidal. When we say static, meaning it inhibits the growth. Cidal, it kills the bacteria. Okay? If you observe here, for the guava leaf extracts, it never reached 100% killing. Ang pinaka-maximum niya was 93, 94 yata, if I'm not mistaken. Okay? So it indicates that it's just a static drug. Okay? Meaning, beyond MIC, it cannot increase its killing capacity anymore. So it stops the growth of bacteria as compared to vancomycin. All right? So anyway, so here are the observations. At sub-MIC, PGL was able to inhibit the growth of bacteria as compared to the vancomycin. All right? And here, this is the time kill assay. This is the time kill curve. Wherein, you'll notice, as you increase the concentration, dapat kasi diretso pababa yan eh. Normally, if it's a concentration-dependent killing, so meaning, taasan mo yung concentration, mas marami siya napapatay. Dapat, habang tumataas ang concentration, pababa ng pababa. Yung orange line na yan is vancomycin. Si vancomycin, keribum-bum. Okay, pumapatay siya ng bacteria. Which is, yun naman talaga yung ginagawa niya eh. Kung mapapansin nyo kay guava, hindi halos nakakaiba yung MIC niya, even with the highest concentrations niya. So that indicates that it is time-dependent killing. Meaning, the more you expose the bacteria to guava leaves, the more it prevents its growth. So yun. Okay, bilis. Wala na pala akong oras. I'm so sorry. I thought I had 20 minutes. But anyway, so... Okay, so for MIC levels, again, we were able to determine the following. Positive, yung kanyang at lowest MIC, it was able to kill, prevent the growth of bacteria as compared to vancomycin. Wherein vancomycin, pag start pa lang ng MIC, saka pa lang siya pumapatay talaga. Alright? Now you might be thinking, wow, ang ganda naman ni guava, mas maganda pa sa vancomycin. Pero dito natin makikita sa pharmacodynamic model natin, okay? Balikan ko muna pala. The pharmacodynamic MIC of The guava is 3,633. This is the concentration that inhibits the growth of bacteria. Hindi lang siya visible. Okay, kasi kaya sa plant agar, yung nakikita ko lang na walang growth. Pero dito talaga, we had to compute the rate of growth and we were able to find out that guava leaf extracts was able to prevent the growth at 3,633 micrograms per ml. Compare that sa na-observe namin using agar plate, which is 2,500. So you'll notice that the ZMIC is actually more close sa ating MBC. Balikan ko lang, ang sa vancomycin is 1.79, which is very close to 2 micrograms. And this is the pharmacodynamic modeling that we were able to observe. The most common thing that you will see for any type of drug is that sigmoidal yung kanyang graph in a pharmacodynamic model. Okay, you'll see here, for vancomycin, it's sigmoidal, parang pababa na gano'n, nag-S-shape siya. Compare that to guava leaves. What can you notice? It's linear. Alright? What does that indicate? Pag sigmoidal kasi, you need to first reach a threshold before it starts working, which is true for most drugs, right? Okay, for vancomycin, you need to reach the MIC before it kills bacteria. As compared to your guava leaf extracts, it's linear, so meaning there's no need for threshold. As you increase the dose, may increase in the inhibition of bacterial growth. Alright? However, if you'll notice, once you reach the MIC for vancomycin, it kills approximately 97.2% of the bacteria every hour. Compare that to your guava. It only kills the bacteria at 6.79%. So talagang baka sabihin nyo kanina, ang ganda-ganda ng pag-promote ko sa guava. Pero you have to remember, this is still an herbal preparation. It's in its crude state. It is not purified. We're comparing apples to oranges here technically. Pero kasi yun yung standard natin. Kailangan sa vancomycin, talagang pakita natin na i-compare natin sa bacteria. Kaya if you'll notice, I didn't do any statistics. There were no statistics because this is truly incomparable. Okay? Kaya hindi kami nagsastatistics dito. We just have to describe what we were able to observe. Right? So at 6.79% decrease per hour. Patapos na po, sir. Don't worry. So in conclusion, the MIC of the crude PGL extract is 2,500, MBC is 5,000, and we were able to determine that the guava leaves has time-killing dependent capacity. So that means if you're going to use an antimicrobial, you have to expose the patient constantly. All right? And it's bacteriostatic in nature, and it kills at sub-MIC concentration. Pharmacodynamic modeling, we were able to observe that at 4 times MIC, the PGL can decrease the growth of S. epidermis by 1% per hour, and that each log unit increase in the PGL concentration can create a 7% decrease in the growth rate every hour. And then the ZMIC observed was 3,633 micrograms per ml. So in conclusion, the finding of the conducted assay, it can be concluded that the overall crude PGL exhibited notable antimicrobial activities. And for recommendations, all right, as seen in a time kill assay, mas maganda sana kung titingnan natin yung how long. Kasi makikita nyo time dependent siya. The research only had 24-hour protocol. What if we extend it to 48 to 72 hours? Can it still continue? Can it still persist its killing capacity? So second is to use plating assays, meaning from the broth, ilipat agad sa plates. Kasi may mga limitations yung paggamit ng spectrophotometer. And then lastly is to perform 10-fold dilution series. Kasi kaya siya siguro nag-linear, baka nakita namin siya at the threshold level. Alright? Kung makita nyo kayo na yun sa sigmoid ng sa vancomycin, tumaas, tapos biglang bumagsak. Baka yung dose namin kasi na ginamit, nandun sa biglang bagsak. Kaya linear yung itsura niya. So we suggest that next one is to perform a 10-fold dilution. Actually, nagawa ko na to, nakita ko, it's actually sigmoidal pa rin. Pero hindi namin na-publish yung research na to. So anyway. So for future directions, future endeavors would include making a topical dosage form because pag topical dosage form, mas matagal yung presence niya. Right? So na-maximize natin yung time-dependent killing capacity niya. And then perform dosage formulations and optimization. Oral dosage form is not advisable. Why? Because what you observe here is 2,500 microgram per ml siya. Pag gagamitin mo siya as oral dosage form for a regular human being, napakadami mong dahon na kailangan i-consume to create the MIC. Alright? So, hindi namin maisuggest na gawin siyang oral dosage form. Mostly, it's for topical talaga. Pwede rin mouthwash. And then consider the possibility of using guava as for its synergistic effects together with established drug to prevent AMR and to prevent toxicity. So here are the references. And sorry, just quick acknowledgement na po. Importante kasi to. Kailangan namin gawin lagi. This research was funded by the University of the Philippines Manila Student Thesis Research Grant by 2022 by the National Institute of Health and the DOST SEI under ASTHRDP program. I would also like to thank UP Manila Technology Transfer and Business Development Office project under Dr. Eileen Yabes, who is my advisor, and the Institute of Urban Medicine under the leadership of Dr. Cecil Maramba Lazarte, who is my co-advisor, for sharing the resources during the conduct of this research. All the people and staff who contributed to this research, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Leland Anthony de la Luna. Alam niyo po, lumaki ako na may matandang puno ng bayabas sa likod bahay namin. At kapag umuuwi kami na may sugat dahil nadapa, no, ang lola ko nagpapalagayan para daw matuyo agad ang sugat. Now, science is proving that it can also fight off hospital infections.
Yes, that's so true po. At saka you notice, lalo yung sa mga noong panahon, di ba pag tinutuli, anong ginagawa? Nagpapanguya ng dahon ng bayabas.
All right. So, to award the Certificate of Appreciation, Dr. Leland, may I request you to go in the middle of the stage? Ayan. To award the Certificate of Appreciation, let me read the citation. Alright, sige. Dr. Leland, later na lang po ang awarding ng certificate natin, but may we request you to go in the front, no, ng natin, so that you could be part of the judging of the presentation. Alright. So, I would like to acknowledge the presence of our judges for today's presentation. The first one is Mr. Dave Mastosisa, and of course, Dr. Leland Anthony de la Luna. Now, the moment we've all been waiting for. It's high time to celebrate the remarkable achievements of our researchers. The first researcher, or the first presentation, is about the Philippine context of nursing in disaster, a concept analysis. This will be presented by Mr. Esmeraldo de las Armas via video presentation. Is his video available na? All right.
Good morning to everyone. My sincere apology for not being able to attend physically due to some emergency. Now, good morning to everyone. My sincere apology for not being able to attend physically due to some emergency. Now, I am Esmeraldo C. de las Armas IV, and I am here to present to you the Philippine context of nursing in disaster, a concept analysis. I am affiliated with the following. Disclaimer, this presentation contains information based on research and analysis of existing data and literature. While every effort has been made to ensure accuracy and content should not be considered as definitive or substitute for professional advice, the views and opinions expressed in these presentations are solely those of the presenter and do not necessarily reflect the official stance of any organization or institution. Please note that the information provided in this presentation is for educational purposes only and should not be taken as a professional advice. If you have specific questions or concerns related to the nursing in disaster, it is recommended to consult with qualified professional healthcare or healthcare professionals or experts in the field. Now, the Philippines is an island located in the Southeast Asia. Its location presents a distinctive dilemma that involves being subject to a wide range of calamities, such as typhoons, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and flood. Those are some of the disasters that displace people, cause infrastructure collapse, and leave a path of injury and disease. In the event of such a catastrophe, nurses emerge as a crucial lifeline. Nurses' expertise and passion serves as a backbone of the healthcare response throughout this crucial and life-changing moment. In catastrophes, nurses efficacy or efficacy effectively is not a problem. They weren't entirely prepared for disastrous event and were unfamiliar of disastrous event. This is noted by Labrague in 2015. Limited resources in the aftermath of disasters, alongside with possible deficiencies in training and infrastructure, might impede their capacity to provide effective treatment. And this analysis will also look on those problems and potential solutions to improve disaster nursing capabilities in the Philippines. We will look at the critical contributions of nurses that makes throughout the disaster management process, from the planning down to the mitigation and rapid response, down to the recovery of from the following disaster. Disaster in the Philippines involves a whole lot more than healing physical wounds. Nurses serves as educators, advocates, and emotional support system, providing comprehensive care amidst the chaos of uncertainty. Now, for the methodology, the utilization of Rogers' evolutionary concept analysis was made. This approach is to analyze articles towards the nursing in disaster in the context of the Philippines. The purpose is to empower nursing community and nursing leaders in the policy making stronger and resilient disaster nursing system that eventually saving lives and easing suffering in the face of catastrophe. Rogers suggests that the process of concept analysis is to explore first on how the concept was used, retrieving information related to the concept from different resources and references, then identifying the antecedents, attributes, consequences of the concept. Furthermore, other concepts related to the concept and crafting a model case for the concept. The following databases were utilized for the review of literature electronically. We have your Ibisco, Scopus, Google Scholar, Philippine e-journal, and other documents coming from the government. The process of data gathering includes rigorous search of different literatures with different keywords such as nursing, disaster nursing, nursing in disaster, disaster in the Philippines, Philippines, and nurse in the title or in the abstract. Abstract and full text articles in English and Tagalog were included. After evaluating the definition and concepts repetitively and its features in various literatures and articles, the description of nursing in disaster evolved. The search result in relevant attributes, antecedents, consequences, proposed definition, and specific model cases for the concept. We have different related concepts for this concept analysis. First, we have disaster management cycle. It relates to the framework that describes the various phases of mitigation, recovery, response, and readiness for disaster. While disaster preparedness refers to the systematic phases done in anticipation of catastrophic events to lessen its impact to society. Another related concept is your emergency and trauma care. It is when disaster scenarios frequently led to spike of health problems and injuries. In these situations, nurses must possess critical care, wound care, and triage nursing skills. Next, we have your public health nursing, which refers to the specific kind of disaster response that necessitates an emphasis on the public health initiatives, including campaigns for immunizations, sanitation, and disease prevention. Another related concept is your mental health and psychosocial support. In disaster survivors are usually severely impacted psychologically by concerns of mental health and psychosocial assistance. Nurses are able to assist with coping methods, crisis counseling, and mental health treatment. Another keyword that pop up is that community resilience. We can define resilience as to community's ability to recover and adjust in the aftermath of a disaster. Nurses may help communities become healthier and more resilient by fostering social networks, mobilizing resources, and sharing information. While another one is your interagency collaboration. Interagency coordination or collaboration, nurses must be able to work successfully in multidisciplinary teams. Now for your attributes, the attributes paint a picture of a dedicated and skilled professional who can rise to the challenge of providing care in the midst of disaster. Nurses in the Philippines plays a vital role in mitigating the impact of disaster and fostering community resilience. Here are some attributes of nursing in disaster, specifically in the Philippine context. Nurses have their clinical skills and expertise for triage and prioritization, resourcefulness and adaptability, wound management, public health knowledge, and mental health support. Another one is your personal qualities and professionalism, resiliency and emotional strength, communication and collaboration, cultural competency, decision-making skills, leadership, and commitment to public service. We have your antecedents. All of the factors previously mentioned have played a role in the development of nursing during disaster in the Philippines. As the country keeps facing natural disaster, these traits are likely to evolve and change, ensuring that the Filipino nurses are well equipped to provide essential nursing and medical services in the time of crisis. The antecedents in the nursing in disaster within the Philippine context can be traced to three factors. Specifically, one, historical context, which is your natural disaster prevalence and evolution of the healthcare system, policies and legislation, disaster risk reduction policies, and the Philippine Nursing Act, educational development, integration of disaster nursing in the curriculum, and continuing education programs. While we have your consequences, consequences can be either a positive or negative. So for the positive, we have to improve health outcomes, enhance community resilience, and development of stronger networks and collaboration. Those are the positive consequences for developing nursing in disaster or disaster nursing. While the negative could be burnout, and psychological stress. According to different studies, in times of disaster, nurses deals with heavy caseloads, witness horrific incidents, and endure difficult working environments. Thus, there would be PTSD or post-traumatic stress, burnouts, compassion fatigue, and others. While physical injuries and health risks, according to the different paper articles, working in devastated locations and taking care of significant number of patients can expose the nurse or the individual to physical injuries as well as the danger of catching infectious disease. While for the moral distress due to the scarce sources or resources, a large number of patients and nurses in the catastrophe scenario may confront challenging ethical decisions. This might cause moral discomfort and feeling of powerlessness. For life or work-life imbalance, disaster response frequently involves working long hours under pressure, which can lead to work-life balance issues and disregard of personal needs. So based on the different articles, we can have a proposed definition of nursing in disaster. Nursing in disaster is a specialized application of nursing knowledge, skills, and compassion to address health needs of individuals and communities before, during, and after disaster. It encompasses the broad range of activities, including disaster preparedness, immediate response, public health interventions, and community resilience building. Nurses in the Philippines in a disaster situation demonstrate cultural competence, resilience, and strong communication and collaboration skills. They work within framework of disaster risk reduction or the DRR policies and collaborate with various stakeholders to ensure a comprehensive and effective response. Now for the models or model cases. We have model case, related case, and contrary case. So imagine with me 3 different scenarios. One with the complete support of materials needed to provide nursing intervention to a devastated or a natural disaster. Another one is where there is a partial lack of need or lack of needed support in equipment. And lastly, where there are a scarce of equipments, supports, and limited resources. So those 3 scenarios have different outcomes, such as that those outcomes could be might work or might not work for the nurse. Now for the recommendations, these are the following recommendations based on the study. Strengthen the disaster nursing education and training, develop a community-based disaster preparedness initiative, enhance interagency collaboration, support mental health and psychosocial services, and improving the infrastructure and resource management for disaster risk reduction. In conclusion, disaster in the Philippine context relies heavily in healthcare personnel. There is a complex role for Filipino nurses in response to disaster and their important role. Nurses help reduce the effect caused by the natural disaster and assist in the development of community resilience. Empower nurses, emphasizing their exceptional abilities in addressing issues experienced. We need to also invest in pre-disaster education, training, and ensure appropriate resources would be available. Focus on mental health care, which will reinforce nurses' critical position in creating more disaster-resistant Philippines. Thank you for listening. These are the references for the concept analysis. And happy Nurses Week to everyone.
Thank you very much, Mr. De Las Armas. Ayan. So basically, our Filipino nurses are really out there saving lives with a stethoscope on one hand and a disaster plan on the other. Okay, so they may actually start with wound care, but their real superpower is stitching resilience into the very fabric of our community. Moving forward, our next presenter is going to discuss the effectiveness of massage, aroma, and music therapy on the stress level of faculty members of the University of Makati. And the researchers are namely Asaya Holden B. de la Burges, Mark Jason P. Diaz, and John Mark D. Dolero.
Hello. Okay, so before we start, we would like to greet everyone a pleasant morning. We are Level 4 nursing students from the Institute of Nursing, and we are here again to present our our research study entitled "The Effectiveness of Massage, Aroma, and Music Therapy on the Stress Level of Faculty Members of the University of Makati." So without further ado, let us begin with the introduction.
So, good day, everyone. I'd like to begin with a quote from Buddha: "To keep the body in good health is a duty. Otherwise, we shall not be able to keep our minds strong and healthy." Because, so this reminds us that physical health is essential for our mental well-being. Because in today's fast-paced world, academic workers face or deals with a lot of stress, and it shouldn't be ignored. So, hear this out. In Europe alone, they utilize complementary and alternative medicine with a 25.9%, and it includes massage of 11%, and research have shown that aromatherapy can reduce pain, and in music therapy, it includes that it reduces stress hormones and increases mental health. So, this concludes that this therapist holds a potential academic application, and there is a practical health benefit. So, let's explore this further. Thank you. Next slide, please.
Okay, next slide. So for the objective of the study, generally we are aiming to, of course, through the findings of our research, we aim to develop or have a proposal for the wellness program that is suitable for our faculty members, and of course reinforce as a supportive workplace environment through the stress management techniques. So next slide, please. Okay, so for the statement of the problem, basically we have a total of seven. So the first, of course, to identify the demographic of our respondents, and then by second, and the following would be to determine their vital signs, their level of stress, and the pain scale during pre-test and the post-test or pre and post-application of the therapy. And then, of course, after that, we're going to identify if there's any significant difference among the findings from the, again, level of stress, the vital signs of the patient during the pre and post to prove or support the effectiveness of our therapy. And then finally, of course, next slide, please. Sorry. So by the last statement, we are aiming to identify what wellness program can we propose in relation to the scope of our study. So next slide, please. Okay, now for the methodology. Okay, for our research design, we utilize a quasi-experimental design, specifically the pre-test and post-test. So there's no need to further explain on that. And then we use a purposive sampling so we focus only on the regular faculty members within UMak as our sample size or her population. So we utilize a total of 40 for the sample size. And then we had a modified survey questionnaire, which includes, again, the demographic vital signs and pain scale monitoring of our respondents, and then identify the level of stress, and which would both cover yung pre-test and post-test to see if there's any difference. And then lastly, conduct an interview to further improve or to test their response in relation to our therapy. And then lastly, utilize a statistical analysis to compare the findings. So next slide, please. Okay, so for the result and discussion, SOP number.
Okay, for the SOP number 1, next slide, please. Okay, so for the SOP number 1, as you can see, according to the American Massage Therapy Association 2022, that female are more likely to use massage therapy. As you can see in the respondents of this study, the female are more, female respondents are more than the male respondents. So for the ages, according to the article by Ismail N. 2017, that ages between 35 to 44 are more likely to use massage therapy. And also for the BMI, as the result, the normal and overweight are equal and more than the obese respondents. And according to the study of Shihada M. et al. 2020, that the overweight respondents or overweight participants are more likely to use COM therapy than the other BMI result. So for the colleges, there are more from group of HSU that is prominent in this study.
Okay, next slide, please, for the SOP number 2. So these are this SOP number 2, and next slide, please, for the result. So after the intervention, there were notable improvements, especially in the vital sign of the respondents, particularly in the blood pressure, the pulse rate, the respiratory rate, and pain reduction. So it decreases a lot, and indicating a positive impact on the participants' overall health. So next slide, please.
Okay, so for the third SOP, so this graph is just to give a better visualization on the findings of our study. So next slide, please. Okay, so for the third SOP, next slide, please. So the result shows, next slide po. Ayan. So for the level of stress of the respondents, significantly declines from the pre-test up to the post-test, in which the post-test shows that all statements had a remark of not at all as compared to the pre-test showing only mild level of stress of our respondents. So for the statement with the highest relevance would be statement number 7. I feel the urge to eat a lot. So this shows that this can be attributed due to the stress-relieving benefits of food and at the same time our induced habit of stress eating. And then for the least relevance, it's statement 11 and 12, feel nervous and unsafe. So this shows that despite the stressful environment that our professors experience, we still, the campus still were able to provide safety and comfort for our professors. So next slide, please.
So this is for our statement of the problem number 4. Next slide, please. So the table shows there is a significant improvement in the systolic blood pressure, pulse rate, and then the pain levels. However, there is no significant changes were found in the part of the diastolic blood pressure, respiratory rate, temperature, or the oxygen saturation of the participants. So that's all for the SOP number 4.
So for the next slide, please. So the SOP number 5, next slide, please. Okay, so to sum up this result of the table, let's focus on the F value, which is the F value is less than the critical value, which the standard critical value, which is the 2.16. So it indicates that it's critically accepted that there is no significance between the group and the level of stress of the participant before the implementation of the therapy. So next slide, please. Okay, again, to sum up this result, let's focus on the F value, which is the less than of the critical value, which is 2.16, and it indicates that it's critically accepted that that there is no significant significance between the demographic data. The demographic level and the level of stress of the participant after the test.
So basically, in terms of the demographic, our study shows that stress is present among all professors, and it is not concentrated to any demographic. So that shows that there is still a further need to accommodate the stress that is being experienced by our professors. So next slide, please. Okay, so for the statement of the problem number 6, of course, this is the highlight of our study to prove the effectiveness of our therapy. Next slide, please. So looking at the p-value of 0.000 and the positive mean difference with the significant p-score and r-value, this shows that there is a significant impact of the massage, aroma, and music therapy on the stress level of our respondents, comparing the pre-test and post-test. So this shows that it is not by chance, and rather the three therapies combined give a significant impact in improving the health condition of our professors. So next slide, please. Okay, so for the statement of number 7, of course, with all these findings that we have gathered, next slide, please. Here we have, first is, we have here the wellness program implementation. So it's not yet the actual therapy session, but first, sorry, hindi siya visible, but on the topmost part, it shows that first we have to establish a wellness committee. This includes the faculty representative, the wellness experts, and the program coordinator. So they are responsible for first is to assessing the health needs of our faculty members, and at the same time determine the current system that we have in relation or regarding the stress management strategies that are currently present among our professors. And then after that, once we have established the wellness committee for the implementation phase, of course we are going to promote the program through the different university channels, and at the same time we have to, through the assessment, of course we are going to practice this therapy. So initially we are aiming to at least do it once or twice a year for the initial step of the program implementation. So this of course this requires primary testing, and then this requires funding of the therapies and gather necessary supplies that is needed in the conduct of the therapy. And then after the implementation phase, of course, consecutively we have to do an evaluation phase to further assess if it's effective. So for the evaluation phase, again, we're going to practice feedback system among our professors. Of course, still our focus are the professors. So we have to determine whether this really helped them through their combined feedback. And then, of course, after that, we're going to do a program adjustment and improvement. So this still needs, there is still a need for further development. Next slide, please. Ayan. So before we proceed with the actual how it can be implemented, of course, through our interview with our professors, we had the perceived benefits and the perceived areas for improvements that we need to include in our proposal. So for the perceived benefits, of course, it is justified by our professors that there is a induced relaxation and stress relief, reduce muscle tension, and improve sleep. So basically, the benefit of the massage, aroma, and music therapy shows that there are both psychological and at the same time physiological benefits to our professor. And then, of course, areas of improvement, since we already have the acupuncture clinic that is existing here in our university, but of course, based on what we know, it's still not fully functional. So of course, we want to further utilize the resources that we already have, so that we can improve the ambience, also the duration of the therapy. Of course, this is in relation to our resources. And then lastly, with the aromatherapy strength, I think the only concern of our professor here is that they want it to be para daw mas matagal, because the one that we did is only lasts for a couple of minutes. So, but again, as mentioned earlier, there are no any negative impact of the therapy to our professors. So next slide, please. Konti na lang. Okay, so basically here are the description. This includes the participants, the possible venue, the duration, the manpower that we need, and the resource. We're not going to further discuss it, but it is present in our paper. Next slide, please. So for the resources, of course, we need the budgeting. So one of also the benefit of using the complementary alternative medicines, particularly this massage, aroma, and music therapy, is that it is cost effective. So only with the small amount of resources that we need can we make an impact to help our professor manage their stress. Again, both physiological and psychological, to further improve their work experiences and also job satisfaction. So next slide, please. Ayan. So that is the implementation. So again, I will not discuss it further since it will take us a lot of time, but it's again present in our paper. Next slide, please. Next slide. Ayan.
So to conclude this study, there is a significant improvement in the vital signs of the patient. Second, that is participants experience reduced stress levels after the therapy or the session. And then third is the demographic factors such as the sex, age, have no influence in reducing the stress level of the patients. And then the last one is that overall, that the therapies were effective in reducing the stress level of the faculty members and integrating into the university wellness is our objective also.
Okay, next slide, please. Now, for the recommendation, we all know that the health status is the top priority of this university. So, the faculty members must report if they are experiencing any of stress at work, so that the university will conduct a wellness program, which is the second recommendation, and to help the faculty members alleviate their stress level. And also, the university must consider to introduce this study to other universities so that the faculty member benefits not just here in the university but also to the other universities. And lastly, for the future researchers, they should or they must consider to make a similar study about this stress level of our faculty members. And that's all.
So once again, we are the Level 4 nursing student from the Institute of Nursing here with our research entitled Effectiveness of Massage, Aroma, and Music Therapy on the Stress Level of Faculty Members. Thank you so much for your time and for listening.
Thank you so much, guys. Very timely, no? Very timely yung kanilang research dahil kakatapos lamang ng midterm exam. Tapos, it's also a mental health week for the university. Yan. It's also fascinating how little aromatherapy can actually shift our moods and at the same time boost mental health. Okay. So ang tanong po, magpapalit na ba ang University of Makati ng mga fluorescent lights to essential oils, massage chairs, and relaxing playlist? Baka naman, University President. Okay, maybe we could also call it as a new kind of faculty development. Ano? Also, the researchers have been talking about a wellness committee. So that is something that I'm pretty sure a lot of faculty members would be interested to sign up for. All right, so we move on to our third presenters. They are going to talk about the levels of work stress experienced by the radiologic technologists working in selected private hospitals in Metro Manila. Our presenters are Anika Saga Galera, Nasruddin M. Abdullah, Jemima Melka Cocharo, Micaela May Jimenez Edhauer. Let's give them a round of applause.
Good day, everyone. My name is Anika Saga A. Galera. Together with Jemima Melka Cocharo, we are here to introduce our presentation entitled Level of Work Stress Experienced by the radiologic technologies working in selected private hospital in Metro Manila. Next, please. For the background of the study, stress is a common experience that many individuals face in the workplace. It occurs when personal needs and the demands of job do not align. Causing emotional and physical reaction, this can have significant effect on mental and physical well-being, leading to a various health issue. Factors like unrealistic expectation, lack of support, and challenging situation can contribute to work-related stress. It is crucial for individuals to identify these stressors and develop effective coping mechanisms to navigate through difficult scenarios. Increased awareness and understanding of stress can lead to the creation of comprehensive stress management programs, ultimately improving efficiency and competence in the workplace. Certain professions such as nursing, pharmacy, and radiologic technologies may be more prone to elevate level of work stress. It is essential for individuals to recognize and address stress in order to perform at their best and maintain a healthy work environment. Next, please. For the statement of the problem, this study aimed to determine the level of work stress experienced by the radiologic technologies working in selected private hospital in Metro Manila. The following questions were sought. First is the demographic profile, sex at birth, age, marital status, year of experience. Second is, what is the mean level and standard deviation on the factors that affect the stress of radiologic technologies in terms of physical, psychological, social, and organizational factors? Next, please. For the third statement of the problem, is there a significant difference in the stress level of the respondent when they are grouped according to their demographic profile? Fourth, is there a significant relationship between demographic profile and stress level? Fifth, what is or are the respondents' additional stress factor? Six, what is or are the respondents' most coping mechanism for the stress level? Seven, what is the stress management plan can be recommended based on the result? Next.
Next slide, please. So for the scope and limitation, the study focus mainly on the level of work stress experienced by the radiologic technologies working in selected private hospital in Metro Manila. The respondents for this study are exclusively: number 1, radiologic technologies working in selected private hospital in Metro Manila. Second, the study does not cover other mental health crisis experienced by these professionals. Third, in line with the statement of problem number 4, this research was solely aimed at identifying whether a relationship exists between professionals' demographic profile and their stress levels without determining whether this relationship positive or negative. So next slide, please. For the review-related literature, these researchers were categorized into 3 demographic factors. First is the demographic factors which discuss the respondents' demographic profile that might affect their stress level experience. Next was the studies under the additional factors and coping mechanisms showed the strategies and ways that respondents use to cope with the stress. Last, identified other factors affecting their stress level outside the physical, psychological, social, and organizational factors. Next slide, please. For the methodology, our research design is quantitative survey method with the support of qualitative method. The researchers use quantitative method. The respondents answered these questions using the following 4-point Likert scale. The Likert scale is adapted from the questionnaire used by the study of Dairit and Habonete in the year of 2018. The researchers used simple percentage standard deviation percent chi-square test. The respondents for the study were composed of 100 or more radiologic technologists who are currently working in selected private hospital within Metro Manila as a licensed radiologic technologies. So for the qualitative method, the researcher conduct interview and use a thematic analysis. Next slide, please.
For the summary of findings, demographic profile, sex at birth, the majority of respondents are male, comprising 51% of the total, while 49% are female. For the age, most respondents fall within 19 to 29 years old age range, comprising 62% of the total. This is followed by individual aged 30 to 44 years old, making up with 35%. Next is those aged 45 to 60 years old who count for 3% of the respondents. For the marital status, the majority of respondents are single with 63%. This is followed by the marital status of married with 35%, while widow and cohabitating has 1% of the total respondent. Next is the year of experience. The majority of respondents has 1 year experience with at least 2 to 3 years with 36%. It is followed by less than 2 years with 24%, and next is at least 40 to 6 years with 21%, while at least 7 to 9 years with 12%, and the last is at least 10 to 14 years with 7% from the total respondent of the study. Next please. Next is the factors affecting the stress of radiologic technologies. First is the composite mean of physical factors show a mean of 2.64 with a standard deviation of 1.54 and verbal interpretation of moderate height. Next is the average score of psychological factor that stand 2.26 with a standard deviation and 1.007 and is interpreted as being moderate low. Next is the composite mean of social factor, which is show a mean of 2.06 with a standard deviation of 1.024 and a verbal interpretation of moderate low. The composite mean of organizational factors show a mean of 1.96 with a standard deviation of 1.023 and a verbal interpretation of moderate low. Next, significant difference in the level of stress of radiologic technology when grouped to demographic profile. In terms of sex at birth, there is no significant effect for the physical factor, psychological factor, social factor, and organizational factors. In terms of age, there is no significant effect for physical factor, while there is a significant difference in the following factors like psychological, social factors, and organizational factors. Next. In terms of marital status, there is no significant effect for the physical factors, psychological factor, social factors, and organizational factors. Next slide, please. For the fourth, significant relationship in the level of stress of radiologic technologies when grouped according to demographic profile. In terms of sex at birth, there is no significant connection for the physical factors, psychological factors, social factors, and organizational factors. In terms of age, there is no significant connection for physical factors, while there is a significant relationship in the following factors like psychological, social factors, and organizational factors. Next. In terms of marital status, there is no significant connection for the physical factors, psychological factors, social factors, and organizational factors. In terms of year of experience, there is a significant relationship for all the four factors. Next. For the additional stress factor, it consists challenge with pediatric patient demand and scheduling, low stress environment, and coping workplace. For the challenge with pediatric, it was identified that pediatric patient as significant source of stress due to their fear and difficulty in gaining their cooperation, often leading to additional stress and need to pass the task to the colleagues. Next is for the patient demands and high scheduling. It highlights with the patient demands and scheduling, while in low stress environment, it reported that low stress environment due to infrequent arrival of patient in their department. For the coping with workplace stress, the respondent recognized that coworker often contribute to stress. Next, please. For the most coping mechanism for the stress level, we have the task focus and team support, leisure activities, and work ethics and communication. Next, please. For the stress management plan, we propose action plan to decrease the level of work stress experienced by the radiologic technologies working in selected private hospitals. Since all of the respondents confirmed that the absence of stress management program in their hospital, researchers emphasized the critical need for such as program among professionals who often endure stress to complete their work. They advocate for the initiative like seminar and team building is to increase awareness of stress management techniques and their practical application in their professional settings. This effort is aimed to not only raise awareness, but also to enhance understanding of workplace stress among the healthcare professional. Next. For the conclusion, this study that the level work stress experienced by the radiologic technology in a selected private hospital in Metro Manila is influenced by demographic factors. While sex at birth and marital status do not significantly impact stress across physical, psychological, social, and organizational factors, age and years of experience do. Younger and less experienced technologies reported higher stress level, particularly in psychological, social, and organizational aspects. These findings suggest that targeted stress management intervention should consider the age and experience level of radiologic technologies to effectively address and mitigate work-related stress. The study has revealed that significant difference in stress level exists among radiologic technologies based on age and years of experience, thereby rejecting the null hypothesis for these demographic factors. However, no significant difference were found based on sex at birth or marital status, leading to the failure to reject the null hypothesis for this factor. This indicates a need for a tailored stress management program considering the identified stressor and demographic influence. For the recommendation for the future researcher to enhance the incredibility of the study, it is suggested to have a larger number of respondents. Second, contact the selected hospital through calls or message to minimize the difficulties, especially if the hospital are far from you. Secure funds for transportation, printing materials, and paper for the respondent to facilitate smoother research execution. Again, my name is Anika Saga A. Galera, together with Jemima Melca Cucharo, representing our research titled Level of Work Stress Experienced by the Radiologic Technologies Working in Selected Private Hospital in Metro Manila. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ladies. Ayan. I guess age and what's that? Marital status and gender, no, does not show significant differences when it comes to the stress that our RADTECs experience. Pero it's very clear based on their study that when it comes to experience, wala yang instruction manual. Ano po? But it certainly helps in navigating work stress. So siguro, we could ask our seasoned RADTECs to have a stress-busting masterclass para sa mga mas bata at bagong RADTECs natin. Okay? Siyempre, importante sabayan din yan ng merienda. Okay? All right. Now, we go directly to our next presenters. No? Medyo kinukulang na tayo sa oras. Our next presenters will talk about the Nipah virus management and protocol awareness among radiologic technologists in Metro Manila. The researchers are Cindy Boncolmo, Shine May Barbas, Charlize Gwyneth Latigay, Micaela Romjin Legaspi, and Francis Angela S. Limpano.
Good morning, everyone. We are Level 4 students from the Institute of Imaging Health Science. Our research is titled Nipah Virus Management and Protocol Awareness of Radiologic Technologies in Metro Manila.
Next slide, please. A lot of you are probably not familiar with Nipah virus, so I would like to introduce to you all what is Nipah virus. Nipah virus is a deadly zoonotic virus transmitted from bats to humans or through contaminated foods and direct contact with infected animals or people. Nipah virus is a well-known example of a wildlife pathogen that crosses over into human populations, causing deadly diseases like severe acute respiratory syndrome, coronavirus, HIV, and a highly pathogenic avian influenza, and it has no approved vaccines or treatment with mortality rate of 50 to 75%.
For our scope and limitation, the researchers limits the registered radiologic technologies in the selected government hospitals. Next, please. For our SOP, the researchers would like to know the demographic profile of the respondents. The following are the level of awareness in regards to the Nipah virus, degree of agreement of the respondents to the guidelines of the other countries, and the significant relationship between agreement and the level of awareness, also the perception of the respondents in regarding to Nipah virus. Lastly, the recommendation. Next slide, please.
Now, for the research design and methodology, this study utilizes a mixed method approach to investigate healthcare workers' awareness and agreement with the World Health Organization guideline for managing Nipah virus. A purposive sampling technique was used to select 30 respondents from 3 government-affiliated hospitals within the institute. The participants completed a 4-point Likert scale questionnaire assessing their demographics, awareness of the World Health Organization guideline, and the level of agreement with its recommendations. Following the quantitative component, in-depth interviews were conducted with the participants to gain deeper understanding of their perceptions, experience, and factors influencing their agreement with the World Health Organization guideline. The study aimed to determine the correlation between the healthcare workers' awareness of the World Health Organization guideline and their agreement with it, as well to explore factors such as age, gender or birth, years of service, and infection control seminar that influences the level of agreement with the World Health Organization guideline. Next slide, please. This is an example. This is the sample of our questionnaire. Next slide. Next slide, please. Next slide.
For our results and discussion, first, demographic profile of our respondents. For the respondents most respondents were young and with 26.7% age 28, women made up the group with 53.3%, and most had 6 to 10 years of experience with 56.7%, and over half, 56.7%, had received infection control training, preparing them to handle and assess Nipah virus. Next slide, please.
For the quantitative part of our research, the researchers present the respondents' agreement with guidelines for controlling Nipah virus with composite mean of 3.75 for the physical factor indicating strong agreement. Key measures like the use of PPE, hand hygiene, and proper waste disposal received mean score of 3.80, underscoring their importance. For the person correlation analysis, revealed no significant relationship between awareness and agreement with the guidelines. This suggests that the factors beyond awareness may influence respondents' agreement with the measures. Overall, the findings emphasizes that the critical role of PPE and strict infection control practices are needed. Next slide, please. Next slides.
For our qualitative data analysis, our participants recognize the effectiveness of guidelines in managing outbreaks like Nipah virus due to their alignment with scientific standards and WHO recommendations. However, challenges such as inconsistent of implementing and resources shortage and logistic issues limited their full potential. Public compliance varied, with some noting increased adherence, while others pointed the gaps that called for better community engagement and education. The need for addressing both technical and behavioral aspect was highlighted, as well as improving infrastructures to ensure consistent outbreak management across regions.
Based on the qualitative data gathered, respondents collectively emphasized the importance of adaptability when addressing disease outbreaks. They recognized that while the Philippines may differ in terms of resources and technological advancement compared to other countries, adapting and modifying international guidelines to fit the local context is both necessary and beneficial. For our key insights, first is the foundation for local protocols. Respondents agree that guidelines from other countries can serve as a crucial foundation for developing local protocols. They stress that guidelines rooted in scientific research and successful containment strategies should be considered even if modifications are needed to account for local limitations. Second is importance of adaptability. The general consensus is that despite differences in resources, these international guidelines can be adapted to enhance local efforts. Adaptability is seen as vital for effectively managing and controlling outbreaks like the Nipah virus, leveraging more advanced and research-based approaches from other countries. In conclusion, our qualitative data suggests that international guidelines for controlling the Nipah virus can indeed be adopted for use in the Philippines. This adaptation process involves considering local limitations and modifying guidelines to fit the local context. By leveraging advanced research-based approaches from other countries, the Philippines can enhance the local response efforts. These insights are supported by various studies emphasizing the importance of contextualizing global guidelines to optimize their effectiveness in local settings. Next slide, please.
The conclusion drawn from the study include the variation among respondents in age, sex, years of service, and participation in infection control training. Respondents demonstrated a solid awareness of the Nipah virus and a strong agreement with existing control guidelines. Although the correlation between awareness and agreement was positively strong, it was not statistically significant. Importantly, respondents believed that the guidelines would be effective in managing a Nipah virus outbreak in the Philippines. Next slide, please. The researchers recommend that radiologic technologies enhance their knowledge of WHO guidelines on the Nipah virus through continuous training. Patients should adhere to the instructions of radiologic technologies to ensure proper procedures and reduce infection risks. Additionally, hospital management should provide more training opportunities and establish specific department guidelines for managing a potential Nipah virus outbreak. The community is advised to stay home during an outbreak to reduce exposure and support healthcare providers. Future researchers should expand the number of respondents and include other hospital levels to refine and improve existing protocols. This can also be a collaborative research type. Next slide, please. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ladies. So, definitely, no, with our experience with the COVID-19 pandemic, nakita natin and based from their research that there is a need to develop local protocols. Yan. At importante din na tayo ay maging adaptable so that we could enhance efforts in managing new viruses that might arise. No? So, yun naman ang maganda, no? With us. We get to adapt, we get to make sure that we learn from our past experiences. All right. Moving forward, our fifth presenter is going to talk about the voice of commitment. They are basically capturing the stories of nurses' will to stay in the Philippines. Okay? Our presenters or researchers are Arlene S. Supremo, Cristuto M. Kongkong Jr., Baby Jean C. Olimba, Eliza Jean P. Lucion, and Florabel B. Niera. Let's give them a round of applause.
Hello researchers, we are from the School of Nursing and Health Sciences at Biliran Province State University. Today we present our research study entitled Voice of Commitment Capturing the Stories of Nurses' Will to Stay in the Philippines. This study was conducted under the guidance of Dr. Arlene S. Supremo. The research team comprises Cristoto M. Kongkong, student nurse, Baby Jean C. Olimba, student nurse, Eliza Jean P. Lucion, student nurse, Florabel B. Niera, student nurse. Let us begin with background of the study. In recent years, many Filipino nurses leave the country due to limited job opportunities, low wages, excessive workloads, slow promotions, and a reduced health budget. Despite this, a significant number choose to stay. Existing literature focuses on why nurses leave, but this study aims to explore why some prioritizes family and personal connections over monetary gains. Using a descriptive phenomenological research design, the findings will inform a strategic plan to enhance nurse retention in the Philippines. Now let us proceed to our general objectives. The study aimed to explore why registered nurses opted to stay in the Philippines, clarifying their commitment. Findings will inform strategies for nurse retention in the Philippines, providing more manpower amid the shortage of healthcare personnel. Here are the specific objectives. First, what is the socio-demographic profile of the nurses who opted to stay in the Philippines? Second, what are the nurses' sources of inspiration and motivation to stay in the Philippines? Third, what plan can be drafted to increase the retention of nurses in the Philippines? Now let us proceed to the Chapter 2, which is the methodology of our study. Start off, we have research design. This study uses a descriptive phenomenological research design to gather data on subjects' current status. Martin Heidegger's concepts of phenomenology emphasizes examining pre-reflective experiences rather than abstract concepts, defining phenomenology as a method to access the theme of ontology and understand being indirectly through existing entities. Research Local. The study was conducted in Biliran Province, Philippines, which consists of 8 municipalities, including Almeria, Biliran, Kabukgayan, Kaibiran, Culaba, Kawayan, Maripipi, and Naval. The close-knit community offers a supportive environment, fostering strong relationships among healthcare professionals, patients, and colleagues. These factors makes Biliran an appealing place for nurses to work and stay. Next, we have research participants. Our participants are registered nurses in the Philippines working in healthcare institutions, selected using purposive and snowball sampling. The selection criteria will include specific qualifications and characteristics relevant to the research. Now, here is our research criteria. First, registered nurses who have 10 years and above working experience. Second, has no intention of working overseas. Third, no history of working overseas. Fourth, working in any healthcare facilities within the Philippines. Fifth, working in a healthcare institutions regardless of tenure. Sixth, consented to participate to the study. Now, our research instrument. To gather the necessary data, researchers used interview guide divided into two parts. The first part includes questions about the demographic profile of the nurses. The second part contains probing questions to capture the experiences of nurses who chose to work in the Philippines. Next, data gathering procedure. Before data collection, informed consent was obtained from participants who signed a hard copy of the consent form. The study's nature and data collection process, including video and audio recording, was explained. Data was interpreted and presented in narrative descriptions. Ethical considerations was strictly followed, and completed questionnaires were securely stored until analysis. Now here is our step-by-step analysis process based on Colizzi's 7-step method. First, we have familiarization. The researcher repeatedly reads the collected data to immerse themselves and understand the nurses' experiences. Second, identify significant statements. Extract meaningful expressions from the nurses' stories that directly pertain to their decision to stay in the Philippines. Third, formulate meanings. Interpret the significant statements to uncover underlying meanings, moving beyond the surface level of nurses' words. Fourth, cluster themes. Group the formulated meanings into categories or themes, identifying common threads and recurring ideas. Fifth, develop an exhaustive description. Create a comprehensive description of the phenomenon, incorporating all identified themes and categories to understand the nurse's commitment. Sixth, produce the fundamental structure. Condense the exhaustive description into a concise statement capturing the essence of the nurse's commitment. Seventh, seek validation. Share the fundamental structure with the nurses of their feedback and validation to ensure the interpretation aligns with their experiences, enhancing the credibility of the analysis. Now, let us proceed to the results or the findings of our study. Here is our major themes about nurses' sources of inspiration and motivation to stay in the Philippines. We have 3 major themes. First, personal and family commitment. Second, financial and job satisfaction. Third, sense of fulfillment. Now, let me present to you the overall findings of our study. The first major theme we have is personal and family commitment. Families' love strengthens commitment. Under this, we have the sub-theme of close family ties, parental and marital responsibilities. Under this, we have specific themes, includes value family connections, disapproval from family members, hands-on in taking care of children, got pregnant or had a baby after graduation, lastly, treasure marital togetherness. The second theme is about financial and job satisfaction, stability at work, satisfaction in life. Under this, we have the 2 sub-themes, include sufficient local income and job stability and contentment. Under this, we have specific themes, includes financially capable of meeting the family's needs and wants, husband or the partner is employed, adequate financial compensation, stable employment as a regular employee, contentment and satisfaction in the workplace, work-life balance, and organizational support. The third major theme is about sense of fulfillment, solidifying commitment. Under this, we have 3 sub-themes, includes professional achievements and recognition, genuine work appreciation, and personal growth. Under this, we have specific themes, includes passion to serve the Filipinos, felt fulfillment in serving the locals, compassion to help and care, satisfaction from receiving an appreciation and promotion, accomplishing tasks and receiving recognition, seeing patients recovered from the illness, boosts self-esteem and confidence, learned from struggles of clients being resilient. Let us now proceed to the themes with sample narratives. In the first major theme, which is the personal and family commitment, under this has a sub-theme of close family ties and a specific theme of value family connections. One of our respondents stated that he or she values the family connections a lot, so our respondent preferred to be close to the family rather than being away. So this statement of our respondent supports the first theme that we evaluated. For the second major theme, which talks about financial and job satisfaction, sub-theme of sufficient local income, specific theme financially capable of meeting family needs and wants. So one of our respondents stated that the earnings are sufficient enough, not too much but not too little. So this statement supports the second theme that we evaluated. For the third major theme, which talks about the sense of fulfillment, solidifying commitment, under this has a sub-theme of professional achievements and recognition, with the specific theme of felt fulfillment in serving the locals. One of our respondents stated, "I am fulfilled every time I see the impact of my work to the local community. Helping people recover and seeing them live healthy lives is a huge reward for me." So this statement of our respondent supports the third theme that we evaluated, which generally talks about how patients shows recognition and appreciation to the nurses, which helps the nurse to be more committed, motivated, and confident in providing care to the patients. Let us now proceed to the conclusion of our study. The study, Voice of Commitment, Capturing the Stories of Nurses' Will to Stay in the Philippines, highlighted the influence of demographic factors such as gender, age, marital status, religion, rank, and tenure on nurses' commitment. The research also revealed the resilience and dedication of Filipino nurses despite facing challenges like low salaries, contractual employment, and resource constraints. Their commitment to serving their communities underscores their essential role in providing quality health care. Understanding this dynamics is crucial for developing effective retention strategies that cater to the diverse needs of the nursing workforce. The last part, the recommendations of our study. We have 10 recommendations. First, implement career development programs. Second, improving salary, benefits, and working conditions. Third, enhance work-life balance initiatives. Fourth, expand access to healthcare benefits. Fifth, establish supportive work environments. Sixth, invest in continuing education. Seventh, create mentorship programs. Eighth, improve infrastructure and resources. Ninth, advocate for policy changes. And lastly, 10th, promote workforce diversity and inclusion.
All right, thank you so much from our researchers from Biliran. So, what is basically surprising about this research is that meron pa pala, no? Meron pa palang rason ang mga nurses why they stay here in the Philippines. Of course, in a world where nurses are migrating, like they're, seeking greener pastures, it's refreshing to see that there are still nurses who stand firm in their profession. So, talk about dedication. These nurses could probably also teach us a master class on resilience, or at least how to juggle these challenges like pros. All right. So we now move on to our sixth presenter. They are going to talk about Beyond the Machine. Okay? Understanding the lived experiences of patients undergoing hemodialysis in Biliran Provincial Hospital. Our researchers are Arlene S. Supremo, Shaira B. Mataganas, Mariel C. Solteras, Habes P. Balondo, and Haika Oledan. Let's give them a round of applause.
Good day. We present to you our research study titled Beyond the Machine, Understanding the Lived Experiences of Patients Undergoing Hemodialysis in Biliran Provincial Hospital. This research is led by Dr. Arlene S. Supremo, a dedicated nurse instructor from Biliran Province State University, along with the committed student nurses, James P. Balondo, Shira B. Mataganas, Jaika Oledan, Meryl C. Solteras. Together, we embark on a meaningful journey to uncover the heartfelt stories of patients, capturing the essence of their struggles, hopes, and triumphs beyond the clinical setting. For patients with chronic kidney disease, Hemodialysis serves as a life-sustaining treatment. According to the Philippine Renal Disease Registry, in 2016, there were 20,776 patients on hemodialysis. In Biliran Province, there are currently 50 patients receiving hemodialysis at Biliran Provincial Hospital. While the efficiency of this treatment modality is unquestionable, the experiences, emotions, and challenges faced by hemodialysis patients in their daily lives remain obscured in the shadows of clinical discourse. Generally, this study aimed to gain a comprehensive understanding of the lived experiences of patients undergoing hemodialysis to enhance holistic care practices. Specifically, the study aimed to answer the following questions. First, what is the socio-demographic profile of the patients undergoing hemodialysis? Second, what are the lived experiences of patients undergoing hemodialysis? Third, what action plan can be crafted to enhance the lived experience of hemodialysis patients? For the research design, the researchers used a descriptive phenomenological research approach. This design enabled the researchers to reach the desired data because it focused on assessing the lived experiences of patients undergoing hemodialysis. The study was conducted in the province of Biliran. Biliran province was chosen as a research location for our study due to the significant presence of 50 patients receiving hemodialysis at Biliran Provincial Hospital. This specific demographic served as a concentrated beginning point for our examination of the province's overall hemodialysis use picture. In gathering the participants, the proposed sampling technique is the sampling method of choice. This method is widely used for the identification and selection of information which cases related to the phenomenon of interest. A total of 10 hemodialysis patients participated in the study. The primary method used by the researchers during the data collection was face-to-face interview. Consent forms from the partnered institutions and participants of the research study was also secured prior to the interview. Upon conducting the actual face-to-face interview, the researchers introduced themselves and provided a thorough explanation and instructions on the nature of the study. Moreover, the process of the data collection was also explained comprehensively, such as taking an audio record while interviewing the participant. The participants were reminded that whenever the interview was ongoing and she felt an emotional distress, he or she has the right to stop whenever she wants. Then, the actual face-to-face interview has taken place. The participants were asked questions that were aligned with the study's objectives. Documentation were made throughout the interview with the use of audio recorder. After the data collection, transcription was done within 24 to 48 hours to allow clear collection of the information and its context. For the data processing and analysis, the study used Colyse's 7-step method as a tool for data analysis because it is a reliable approach to understand people's experiences. Colyse's 7-step method is a qualitative research approach designed to explore and comprehend the lived experiences of individuals, particularly within the context of phenomenological research. For the findings of the study, there were 5 themes that emerged from the significant statements of the participants, such as first, life amidst adversities; second, resilience through dialysis care; third, radiance of professional care; fourth, united in support; fifth, struggle of social stigma. Furthermore, 8 sub-themes emerged from the major themes of the study. The themes that emerge are facilitated by the researchers' main question and probing questions. For the first theme, life amidst adversities. This theme is composed of the participants' experiences as a hemodialysis patient. the routine of daily life significantly deteriorates for dialysis patients. From one statement of the patient, he said, "There was a huge change when I started hemodialysis. I cannot do some of my chores because I get easily exhausted. Before, I can still play basketball, but with my condition, it makes it impossible for me to do so. This is due to being easily exhausted as well as episodes of pain in my back and knees. So, the only thing that I do to pass time in our house is to do less heavy chores such as cleaning our house." This decline shows how hemodialysis encompasses various aspects of their existence, including physical health and overall lifestyle. For the second theme, resilience through dialysis care. This theme is composed of the hemodialysis patient's life adaptation as someone who goes through hemodialysis. From one statement of the participant, she said, "Emotionally, I just accept my condition and enjoy what is going on with me right now. Of course, my family is quite supportive emotionally." This shows that the problem they faced as a hemodialysis patient initiated them to manage ways to cope. Third theme, struggles of social stigma. This theme is composed of the participants' challenging journey that demands immense physical and emotional resilience. From one statement of the participant, she said, "There are times when you hear people judging you, especially at times when your illness is not getting better. You feel like you're always in the hospital. You hear people saying things like, 'What's going on? Your situation is getting worse and will only add more to your problem.'" For participants already grappling with the demands of their medical condition, this additional layer of social stigma can be profoundly disheartening, further isolating them and affecting their mental health. Fourth theme, united in support. This theme shows the various support systems that played a crucial role in the lives of the patients undergoing hemodialysis. In a statement made by one of the participants, she said, "I really admire my employer because she takes good care of me. She gives me vitamins every day, and she also provides my maintenance medications. Whenever I need to go for lab tests, she takes me there. Since she's a nutritionist, she makes sure my food is appropriate, advising on what I can and cannot eat. At home, there are many domestic helpers, and she informed my co-workers about my condition, telling them to give me space and not give me any task, unless I'm ready to work. They really let me work on my own pace." These support systems help the patients cope with the physical, emotional, and psychological challenges posed by their condition. Lastly, radiance of professional care. This theme is composed of the participants' experiences under the professional care of the health workers while undergoing hemodialysis. From one participant, he stated that, "Yes, I am thankful that the nurses here are kind. So far, their services are okay since I got here." The respondent said that the service that the healthcare workers provide creates a positive impact to them as a patient, physically and emotionally. In conclusion, the overall experience of hemodialysis patients reveals a complex interplay of challenges and coping strategies. While the physical and emotional toll of the disease and its treatment can be profound, patients demonstrate remarkable resilience and adaptability. Thus, the following recommendations was formulated. To address the problem of social stigma against hemodialysis patients, the local government unit should launch a comprehensive public education program utilizing social media, events, posters, and brochures to highlight the harmful effects of stigma. Second, to mitigate psychological and emotional distress among hemodialysis patients, the LGU should develop and implement monthly wellness workshops. This workshop should feature guest speakers to provide tips and strategies for emotional well-being, resilience building, and stress management. Third, to enhance adherence to hemodialysis treatment and dietary regimens, hemodialysis nurses should conduct a weekly educational session. These sessions should emphasize the importance of following the prescribed treatment schedule and dietary guidelines. Lastly, to address the issue of limited financial assistance for hemodialysis patients, the LGU should organize annual workshops focused on financial management skills, budgeting, and resource optimization strategies. Additionally, the LGU should provide guidance and support to patients in navigating financial assistance programs, community resources, and charitable organizations. That concludes our presentation. Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you very much, our dear researchers. No, I'm pretty sure it's a very difficult process of researching about the lived experience of our hemodialysis patients. No, it requires a lot of maturity and some sort of detachment as well, lalo na kapag pinag-uusapan yung challenges na pinagdadaanan nila. All right. We now move on to our next presenter. The topic is about green spaces and mental health, investigating the therapeutic effects of nature-based interventions among Biliran Province State University employees. Our researchers are Pearl Irish De Paz, Jean Garcia, Vianey May Fuentes, and Hannibal De La Torre. Let's give them a round of applause. Of course, dahil live ito, meron tayong kaunting technical difficulties. Okay pa ba kayo dyan? Yeah, okay, that's good. So, we truly appreciate your patience as we wait for our next presenter.
Good day, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
I thank you po. So, good day, everyone. In our fast-paced and increasingly urbanized world, the need for spaces that promote mental well-being has never been more critical. Nature has always played a pivotal role in human health, but today we seek to explore just how profound this connection is, particularly in our workplace environment. With that, let me present to you our study entitled Green Spaces and Mental Health, Investigating Therapeutic Effects of Nature-Based Interventions Among BIPSU Employees. This study is authored by yours truly, Jean Garcia, Ms. Vianney May Fuentes, Hannibal De La Torre, and with our research advisor, Dr. Pearl Irish V. De Paz. So now let's proceed to the introduction. In recent years, the relationship between natural environments and mental well-being has gained significant attention. This research study delves into the exploration of this connection.
focusing specifically on the therapeutic effects of nature-based interventions among employees of Biliran Province State University. The inspiration for this research came from the growing attention to how nature impacts mental health, especially in work environments. Given the increasingly fast-paced and stress-filled lives we lead, we, the researchers, wanted to explore whether simply being in nature can help mitigate some of these pressures. Our focus was Biliran Province State University, which, despite being in a more rural setting, still faces the same workplace stress challenges as urban institutions. Now, to our objectives. Generally, the study seeks to explore and understand the relationship between green spaces and mental health among employees of Biliran Province State University. Specifically, the study sought to answer the following questions. What is the respondent's socio-demographic profile? What are the green spaces experiences of the respondents in terms of green space experiences at home, at work, and at outdoor green spaces? Third, what is the status of the respondents' mental health and well-being? Fourth, what is the relationship between the following variables? Respondents' socio-demographic profile and green space experiences. Respondents' socio-demographic profile and their mental health. Respondents' green space experiences and their mental health. And ultimately, what action plan can be crafted to improve green space practices to promote mental health? On to our methodology, we employed a descriptive correlational design for this study, which helped us examine the relationships between employees' socio-demographic profiles, their green space experiences, and their mental health. Our sample was composed of 140 BIPSU employees, including faculty and administrative staff, who responded to a detailed survey. What was interesting about our method was how we categorized green space experiences. We didn't just ask whether respondents visited parks. We examined their interaction with green spaces at three levels: home, work, and outdoor areas like parks and beaches. This gave us a clearer picture of how varied and frequent exposure to nature influenced their mental health. Our research instrument was a modified survey questionnaire adapted from Shanahan et al., which was used to measure respondents' socio-demographic profiles, green space experiences, and mental health. The questionnaire was divided into three parts: socio-demographics, green space experiences at home, work, and outdoors, and mental health indicators based on the Warwick-Edinburgh Mental Well-Being Scale. The data were processed using Microsoft Excel with frequencies, percentages, and weighted means calculated to interpret responses. Spearman's Raw and Pearson's correlation coefficients were applied to assess the relationships between variables, such as green space experiences and socio-demographic factors, as well as their impact on mental health. Now, onto the results or findings. First off is the age. So the respondents' ages are distributed across three categories. The majority, 69 respondents, 49.3%, are between 30 to 39 years old. This data suggests a predominant representation of middle-aged individuals in the sample. Next, on the sex, among the respondents, 84 are female, accounting for 60% of the total, while 56 are male, making up 40%. This indicates a higher participation rate among females in the survey. So the majority of respondents are married, with 88 individuals. And also, the majority of respondents earn between 10,000 to 30,000, highlighting a concentration of lower income brackets. And most respondents reside in Laval, wherein the Biliran Province State University is located. A higher a high level of educational attainment is observed with 67.9% being college graduates. Education level is associated with awareness and utilization of mental health resources, including nature-based interventions. So, these are the results of our study. Now, in this part, we looked at how frequently people engage with green spaces in different areas of their life: home, work, and outdoors. The first three questions correspond to the green space experiences at home, questions 3 to 6 for green space experiences at work, and the last three questions for green space experiences outdoor. At home, nearly half of the respondents frequently spent time indoors with views of green spaces, and a similar percentage used their yards or decks. In the workplace, while the majority spent time at work, only a small percentage had regular outdoor exposure. Access to green spaces like university gardens and local parks was common, although barriers such as heavy workloads and time constraints limited frequent engagement. Many respondents expressed a desire for increased interaction with nature. So these are the self-reported outdoor green spaces that the respondents have visited or passed through. And these are the factors that prevent BIPSU employees from spending time at outdoor locations. So for the conclusions of the study, first is most respondents were aged between 30 to 39 years, female, married, holding a bachelor's degree with a job position as an administrative staff member and earning a monthly income between 20,000 to 30,000. BIPSU employees spend considerable time at home and at work with a strong visual connection to green spaces, which supports mental well-being. Employees engage frequently with their yards or decks and outdoor work activities, but their recent visits to green spaces are limited, indicating potential barriers to more frequent use. Moreover, several significant barriers prevent BIPSI employees from spending time outdoors, including a lack of time, excessive heat, and safety concerns. Third, BIPSI employees enjoy a high level of mental well-being, indicating that positive experiences and feelings, such as self-esteem and clarity of thought, are frequent and consistent among the group. Lastly, mental health showed significant positive correlations with green space experiences at home, at work, and at outdoor green spaces. However, no significant correlations were observed between socio-demographic variables, which are age, sex, civil status, educational level, and mental health, and between socio-demographic variables and green space experiences. So these are our recommendations based on the findings of the study. First, Biliran Province State University should create or enhance green spaces within its work environments to promote mental health and well-being among employees. Institutions should also provide flexible work schedules or dedicated break times that allow employees to engage with green spaces during working hours. Second, the municipal health office and community organizations should establish community programs aimed at increasing awareness and utilization of green spaces, particularly targeting lower income groups. Third, the Biliran Province State University Research Office should conduct longitudinal studies to explore the long-term effects of green space interactions on mental health across various socio-demographic groups. Additionally, researchers should investigate additional variables that might influence green space use and mental health. such as cultural factors and personal preferences. And lastly, the LGUs should allocate resources to improve and maintain existing green spaces, ensuring they are safe, clean, and welcoming for all users. They should also invest in the creation of new green spaces and underserved areas to provide equitable access to all community members. So that is all for our study. And once again, our study is entitled Green Spaces and Mental Health, investigating the therapeutic effects of nature-based interventions among Big City employees. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So what we are actually seeing in that research is that green spaces promotes mental health. And this is something that we also saw during the COVID-19 pandemic, di ba? Because of the rise of the plantitos and plantitas during that time. And now it is being encouraged by our researchers. All right. Moving on to our last two presenters. Our next presentation is about the development of Herbalens, a medicinal plant image capture application. The researchers are Mark Angelo Rivera, Paul Xavier Dubiao, Arian Villagonzalo, Mr. Romel Dorin, Assistant Professor Estela de Vera Barasi, and Associate Professor Wilbur Sabado. Let's give them a round of applause.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mark Angelo Rivera. Good day, everyone. My name is Mark Angelo Rivera, and I'm here to present our collaborative research along with my fellow researchers, Dubiao, Villagonzalo, Salvador Dorin, and Barasi. So our project entitled Development of Herbalens, a medicinal plant image capture application designed to enhance plant identification, education, and conservation efforts, particularly in communities like Calauan, Laguna. This research is a joint effort between the College of Computing and Information Sciences and the Institute of Pharmacy. So, medicinal plant identification is crucial yet challenging because of large number of species and their often nuanced differences. So, accurate identification is essential to ensuring the safe and effective use of this plant. In the Philippines, the high cost of conventional drugs and limited healthcare access in rural areas make herbal medicine an appealing alternative. So, Herbalence, a prototype mobile application, was developed based on the findings of Conopio et al. 2023, student from the Institute of Pharmacy. So, it provides a reliable tool for identifying medicinal plants and plays a key role in preserving traditional knowledge that can pass down through generations. So, Makati Homeville in Calauan, Laguna is a resettlement community where traditional herbal medicine is still widely practiced. However, residents face challenges in correctly identifying medicinal plants. So, making it crucial to provide an accessible tool for plant identification. So, Herbalence not only aids in identification but also helps preserve traditional knowledge, which is essential for maintaining the cultural and medicinal heritage of these communities. So, this preservation ensures that the knowledge of herbal medicines can be passed down to future generations. So, furthermore, conserving medicinal plants is a vital not only for cultural preservation but also for biodiversity. So, medicinal plants are often at risk due to environmental factors, overharvesting, and urbanization. So, by helping communities identify and sustainably use these plants, so Herbalence promote both cultural preservation and environmental conservation. So, Herbalence was developed with the following objectives: to enhance plant identification accuracy, supporting education and the preservation of traditional medicinal knowledge, to identify the challenges users face in conventional plant identification, and to assess the app's effectiveness in promoting the sustainable use of herbal resources. So, additionally, the project is part of the ongoing innovation in the adapted communities of the University of Makati, where technology is being applied to improve the conservation of medicinal plants, not only in Makati Homeville, but in nearby communities as well. So, by preserving the knowledge and ensuring that future generations have access to these resources. So, next is the methodology. So, our research design combined developmental and descriptive approaches. So, the developmental aspect focus on refining the app's usability and accuracy, while the descriptive aspect gathered data on medicinal plant properties. So, we use purposive sampling, 50 respondents targeting plant enthusiasts, business owners related to plant, and general public. So, data was collected through questionnaires and interviews, and we used the ISO 25010 software quality model to evaluate functionality, usability, and reliability, while the app is currently in the prototype stage. So, we are continuing to improve its features po. So our conceptual framework centers on 4 components: input, process, output, and feedback. So, Herbalence was developed using Android Studio with machine learning models, built-in TensorFlow. So, the app's plant identification feature relies on image recognition technology designed to handle subtle variances in plant species. So, continuous expert feedback ensures that the app remains accurate and relevant. So, Herbalence is undergoing patent application, and we are working on improving its functionality to serve the wider community. So let me walk you through how HerbaLens work. So user can capture or upload plant images using their mobile device. So the app employs machine learning algorithms to analyze these images and provide an identification. If the plant is found in the database, detailed information is returned instantly. So if no match is found, the image is flagged for review by experts. So users receive an email with information about the plant, including its identification status and related details. So the administrator coordinates with expert to verify or reject plant entries, ensuring data accuracy. So the app is designed not just for Makati Homeville community, but nearby FRAB communities as well. So next, HerbaLens was developed using the agile methodology, which allowed for continuous collaboration and refinement. We began by gathering requirements through discussions with stakeholders, including the Institute of Pharmacy Secretary at the University of Makati. These discussions helped guide the core features of the app. In design phase, we created wireframes and diagrams to visualize the app's structure. During the development phase, we focus on building the app's image recognition capabilities. In testing, it involves both unit tests and user acceptance testing to ensure the app met the ISO 25010 standards. So, HerbaLens was rated satisfied by the respondents based on its functionality 3.50, usability 3.51, and reliability 3.40, and performance 3.47. So its image recognition feature was found to be accurate, and users appreciated the app's intuitive design. So the app also performed well in terms of reliability with high scores for fault tolerance and recoverability. Beyond its technical performance, the app was praised for its role in cultural preservation, ensuring the traditional knowledge remains accessible to both current and future generations. So our finding shows that HerbaLens made a significant impact in the community by improving plant identification accuracy. It also plays a critical role in supporting traditional medicinal practices. So, and promoting conservation efforts in Makati Homeville. So the preservation of traditional knowledge is vital and for maintaining the cultural heritage associated with these medicinal plants. And HerbaLens ensures that this knowledge is passed down to generations. So HerbaLens exemplifies how technology can use to bridge traditional knowledge and modern innovation. So the app is currently undergoing continuous enhancement, and we are working on a patent to protect this unique technology. So moving forward, we aim to expand the app's database and further improve its features to make it an even more valuable resource for communities in Calauan and beyond. So here's the references we use in our study. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you very much. We have excellent development in that technology of HerbaLens. And moving forward to the last presenter this morning, they are going to talk about Intel RX, a mobile health application for enhancing medication knowledge of selected geriatrics in District 1, Makati City. Our researchers are Althea Alquilera, Kim Javines, Felicity San Antonio, and Estela de Vera de Barasi. Let's give them a round of applause.
So good day, everyone. Let me start my presentation. Senior citizens are one of the most vulnerable population, requiring special care, most especially in managing their medication. According to the Philippine Statistics Authority in 2020, senior citizen comprises of 8.5% of the population. And many of these senior citizens often have difficulties in managing their multiple medication due to the age problems like loss of memories and visual impairments, which these issues can result in the high risk of medication errors. So recognizing this issue, our team developed Intel RX, a mobile health application that aim on enhancing or helping the senior citizen managing their medication more effectively. So good day, everyone. I am Kim C. Javines, and I am excited to present to you Intel RX, a mobile health application that specifically designed to enhance medication knowledge of senior citizens in District 1, Makati City, together with Ms. Altea, Ms. Felicity San Antonio, and Ms. Estela de Vera Barasi from the University of Makati Institute of Pharmacy. Please watch the video for the demonstration of the application.
Intel RX consists of several features accessible from the homepage, such as the camera, chatbot, and contact options. The first feature is image recognition, which can identify medications stored within the application's database.
Losartan ginagame ito para sa pagamating hypertension at binabawasan nito ang panganibing cardiovascular disease.
And as you can see and hear, it displays relevant information about the scanned drug. Once the drug is scanned and the information appears, it can be read in English or Tagalog. And the application itself can also read it out loud, since the Intel RX application has an image-to-speech feature designed for senior citizens, especially for those with poor eyesight and difficulty reading. Next is the chatbot feature, where users can ask questions about various drugs. As we move on to the digital world, recent study shows that chatbot feature has been incorporated into the application, aiming to provide easy access tests of information to the citizens. The researchers aim to help senior citizens to obtain information without the need for frequent visits to healthcare facilities. And as for their convenience, they can also ask our chatbot in English and Tagalog language. Lastly, there is the contact feature for any inquiries regarding the application or their medication. Users can utilize the app's built-in contact function to reach out to the research team. As of now, only researcher student pharmacists can be contacted through the app, and the information given will be validated by the healthcare professionals.
So the integration of AI into health system has proven beneficial it is also supported by the studies of Geron in 2022 and Chalasani et al. In 2023. With the evolution of artificial intelligence, we can now offer better solutions or provide instant support to the senior citizen in managing their medication, also in reducing the risk of medication errors and confusions. So this Intel RX application also leverages the technology by providing personalized medication care, as well as easy to understand medication guidelines. So for the methodology of the study, the researchers utilized mixed method approach, specifically explanatory sequential research design, combining both quantitative and qualitative interviews. So the app was developed using the DBR model, or the design-based research model, by Ma and Harmon in 2009, ensuring the continuous improvement through iterative feedback loops from senior citizens. So the application po was developed using the Google Colab and Android Studio. For the study subjects, it is a diverse group of senior citizens with hypertension from District 1, Makati City, that is ages 60 and above and has intermediate internet accessibility. So for the statement of the problem number 1, what is the software features that can be incorporated in the Intel RX application based on the survey conducted with the selected senior citizen? So 20% of the senior citizen answered that they wanted the image-to-speech feature, so that we incorporated the image-to-speech feature in the scanning of the medication. While the 80% does not have any recommendation aside from the proposed features, which are the image recognition, image-to-speech, chatbot, and English-Tagalog multilingual. For the statement of the problem number 2, what is the quantitative feedback of user after using the Intel RX application in terms of functional, suitability, efficiency, compatibility, and the usability? So the quantitative feedback of the user declared that the application to be reliable, user-friendly, and fulfilled its intended purpose. Next one. So the application also proved to be efficient when it comes to the speed of the application and management of the data users. Next is the chatbot rank 1, as you can see. Chatbot rank 1, as you can see in the slide, to be the most useful feature of the Intel RX application, followed by the English-Tagalog multilingual, while image-to-speech feature and image recognition both rank 3rd. And also, the users found the application to be user-friendly and very efficient in learnability about specific health needs. So for this statement of the problem number 2, what is the medication knowledge score of selected senior citizen before and after using the Intel RX application, and is there any significant difference? Next slide. So this data was analyzed using IBM SPSS for us to be able to calculate it more efficiently. So each category of elements, we have here the drug awareness, indication of drug, dose of drug, details of administration, and additional information. So each category has pre-test and post-test, as you can see, to assess if there is any significant difference among two. So for the category to be considered significant, the p-value must be less than 0.05, and then the t-value must be greater than 2.228. So as shown in the table, the following categories with their respective p-value and t-value, as you can see yung may naka-red na box. And for the indicator 1, drug awareness yielded 0.16 p-value, but the t-value exceeded the condition, which is 2.887. The indicator number 2, indication of drugs, yielded 0.002 p-value. And then the indicator number 3, additional information, yielded 0.001 p-value. Which all these three indicators, the drug awareness, indication of drug, and additional information are considered to be significant, while the others indicators, such as those of the drug and details administration, yielded 0.167 and 0.347 respectively, which is interpreted as not significant. So in summation, the utilization of Intel RX application has significant improvement of the population understanding and providing additional medication information. So for SOP number 4, what is the qualitative feedback of the users after using Intel RX application? So these are the feedback of the users while we gather the qualitative data. So these are the themes, which is the accessibility to medication information, frequency of usage, and intention to seek information about medical terms or medications. And they say that they improve medication knowledge through artificial intelligence. So this is analyzed using colysis method. So for the conclusion, our research demonstrated that Intel RX application effectively enhances medication knowledge among senior citizens. And the feedback suggests high user satisfaction and highlights the potential of AI-driven solutions in healthcare. For the recommendations, first is to expand the application accessibility to iOS and other devices like tablets, but a quick update, it is now available on on Android tablets po. And any medium with camera and Android system. So unfortunately, iOS was quite far from the reality, but the tablets, we already have Intel RX on the tablets. Number 2 is enhance the offline functionality to allow the chatbot to work without internet access. Number 3 is extend the multilingual support to include languages like Bisaya and other diverse user population. So the recommendations for 2 and 3 is now on process for the next year update of the Intel RX. And number 4 is to apply the application to a larger population and conduct larger pilot testing for better user feedback and usability. Next is to include the information on different diseases and commonly used herbal remedies to focusing on interaction and safety. So also this one is on the list of what will be the next year 2025 Intel RX. So number 6, to provide researchers and healthcare providers with database access to contribute to updated data. As you can see in the demonstration earlier, we said that the number there or the contact there will be just us. So we're looking forward that we'll be able to contact a healthcare professional, a doctor, or maybe a pharmacist, so the users can contact them directly. Next is to collaborate with the organizations like Makati Health Department and pharmaceutical companies for data and continuous development. So as of the moment, we are already waiting for the result of the patent of the application. And these are our references. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ladies. Definitely an exciting times for our senior citizens with high hopes of providing more support in their medication care. Whew! That's a lot to take in, ano? And of course, we understand the difficulty that our judges have on hand. Since we now lack the time for an open forum, we are now going to award the Certificate of Appreciation. May we request Dr. Leland Anthony de la Luna to please come on stage for the awarding of certificate. May I also request Director Florante and representative from BIPSU so that we could award this to them. The Certificate of Appreciation is proudly given to Dr. Leland Anthony de la Luna, RPH, PharmD, MS Pharmacology, for the invaluable knowledge imparted as parallel discussion speaker and judge during the 7th Research Congress with the theme Committing for a People-First Development and a Sustainable City, conducted on October 16 to 17, 2024 at the University of Makati Admin Building Auditorium. Given this 17th October 2024 at the University of Makati, City of Taguig, Philippines. Signed, Elixir Ramos, PhD, SESE, University President, Florante E. de los Santos, RGC, Director for Center for University Research, and Maria Faye Nanette M. Carriaga, RPH, PhD, EM, Vice President for Planning and Research. Once again, a round of applause for Dr. Leland Anthony de la Luna. Award the Certificate of Appreciation for our judge, may we request Mr. Dave Mastusisa to please come on stage. The Certificate of Appreciation is proudly given to Mr. Dave Mustasisa for the invaluable knowledge imparted as parallel discussions judge during the 7th Research Congress with the theme Committing for a People-First Development and a Sustainable City, conducted on October 16 to 17, 2024 at the University of Makati Admin Building Auditorium. Given this 17th of October 2024 at the University of Makati, City of Taguig, Philippines. Signed, Elixir C. Ramos, PhD, CESE, University President, Florante E. de los Santos, RGC, Director for Center for University Research, and Ms. Maria Faye Nenet M. Carriaga, RPH, PhD, EM, Vice President for Planning and Research. Once again, let's give Mr. Mustasisa a round of applause. May we request Dr. Leland for another photo opportunity. All right. Thank you all for your insightful presentations today. Your hard work and dedication to research truly shone through, showcasing the diverse perspectives and innovative ideas. Now, as we take a moment to reflect on the valuable discussions we've had, I encourage everyone to take a well-deserved lunch break. Please regroup in the auditorium for our next session at 1 p.m. See you later.